Hi, I'm here. Welcome in. How are you guys? How's it going? First today was taken by Neon Harper, aka my favorite froggy in the whole universe. Thank you so much to Harper for taking my first today. Makes me very, very happy you could be my first. Then Daily Pillow, we've got Cola, Jeremy, Leonix, Alex, Nordy, and Nugget. Welcome in. Hi, I missed your videos even if it wasn't that long Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, I was working on art commissions. I've been a little bit busy, a little bit swamped, but we're gonna be doing, oh my god, we're gonna be doing so many streams this month. That's why I didn't feel as bad about taking yesterday off. Normally I would have streamed yesterday, but yeah. Also, hi Jacob on YouTube, welcome in. But yeah, before we even start the game and all that stuff, I am one of the content creators, one of the streamers that is partnering with the Fall in Love Festival, which is a visual novel festival. Because I mean, you guys know how much I love visual novels, especially romance visual novels. So the Fall in Love Festival is the last week of September. It is September 24th through October 1st. So pretty much almost every single day of the festival, I will be streaming a different visual novel, all of which have at least some romance elements to it. But we'll also have lots of visual novels to play on our usual Friday streams as well. But yeah, that whole week is gonna be just visual novels crammed into as many streams as I can. I'm taking Saturday and Sunday off though, because Saturday is our Discord hangout session. So I don't usually stream on Saturdays, and then Sundays so I can breathe, basically. But I have so many really cool visual novels to show you guys. I was so happy because they're like, yeah, you can like submit your information and we'll like be like the third party so the devs can email you if they're interested in you playing their game on stream. And I was so surprised at how many emailed me that I was like genuinely like, oh my god, how am I gonna fit all these in my schedule? I'm like rearranging my schedule. I'm like, okay, I guess I can put this one here, and I could put that one there, and then maybe I can squeeze this one in here, and it was very funny, and very surprising, I think, but it's a very good surprise. Like I said, I love visual novels so much. They're, I think, by far one of my favorite genres. So it just makes me happy to have more of them. Hi Nordy, hi Nugget, hi Jeremy, welcome in. So yes, we will be playing so many visual novels this month, including this one. This one is a Irish / Celtic folklore mythology inspired visual novel called The Good People. It's called, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it properly, like Daoine Maithe, I think is how you say it, Maithe. I'm sure they'll tell me how it's pronounced, because they actually have like a whole thing in here too, which was pretty interesting. They have like a glossary. Whenever they use like Irish words, they'll have like the actual pronunciation of the word in here too. So we'll know how to pronounce things properly by the end of this, hopefully. Oh my goodness. But I'm so excited. I was already playing around with the character creator thing a little bit earlier because it was pretty neat. You have like your true name, you know, the name that you can't speak because there's lots of fairies. And for those who don't know about the Fae, you should never give your real name to the Fae, right? Because if you do so, then they're basically able to like take control of like you and they'll steal your name. It's like a whole thing. You don't give your real name to them. So I put my real name in here. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because that's my true name. I can't just tell you my true name. What if one of you was a fairy, right? And we got my nickname. My nickname's Derry. And then I also set my pronouns. You can also do custom pronouns and other stuff too. I just put they, them. You can even upload a custom character, which I think is really fucking cool. This feels like the joke about the Fae and ADHD people. I've seen a lot of those, yeah, actually. But yeah, I was debating on if I should do the blank character, or if I should do this one. I was debating. Which one do you think? Should we do the redhead, or should we do the shadow character? They were gorgeous. I could see their blank and custom features from a mile away. Faye, can I have your attention? ADHD person. Sure, Faye. Oh no. Yeah, you know, maybe we'll do the blank. I think that'll be funny. We'll set it as the blank character. But they actually have it so you can go into the files and you can like literally edit and like make your own character to put in here and it'll have it, which is really neat. Right now this game is early access, so you can play it right now, but it's not finished basically. It's still a work in progress. Also, hi Ghost Pupper, hi J-Bomb, welcome in. I got my coffee. My candles arrived too. I ordered my candles with that candle gift card that was gifted to me. So I lit my new candle. It's called One Bed. It's based off of the book, like the romance sort of book trope of like two characters arrive at like a hotel or at like a tavern or something like that, and there was only one bed, and so they have to share. It's a really nice scent, honestly. Candles, coffee. Yay, so cozy. Wait, we're gonna do, there we go. Profile saved. He's gonna teach us how to live, laugh, love. Hell yeah, baby. I'm always living and laughing and loving. Oh yeah, look, we got the world map. Wow. You got all kinds of stuff. Look at all this. Oh my god. Wait, the province of winter, the province of spring, province of autumn, and the province of summer. Oh my god, they even got like the whole alphabet too. Because when I say you're loved and appreciated, you're also loved and appreciated. Man, look at all of that. Oh my god. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Alright, how do I leave? How do I exit? Oh, how do I let me out? Oh, there we go. Okay. It's heat. Okay. So I guess we go with the Book of the Traveler. There we go. Book 1, the Book of the Traveler. The following chronicles seek to recount the events preceding the Ironok's interference with the affairs of the legendary Tuatha De Danann, more contemporarily known as Daoine Maithe. Oh, look, see, they're gonna show us. Aranok. Okay. Let's see how we pronounce this. Tuatha De Danann. Ain't that fucking neat? Ain't that nice that they got that built in like that? They're like, we know you fuckers are gonna mispronounce this. Here's how it's pronounced. Oh, here we go. Now we can know how to say the title of the game. Daoine Maithe. Daoine Maithe. There we go. That's the name of the game. Another name for the or. Ace she. We're learning so much. Oh my gosh. We begin in 1845 during the initial onset of Androskshall or Angortamor, an era of Irish history besieged by unparalleled tragedy. For most, the severity of what was to come could not yet be known, but to the laborers any poor harvest meant that a long and hungry winter. Proper preparation was vital, and so it was thus that the Aranach set out to the port city of Galway one fateful mid-September morning, readying to pawn off an assortment of family heirlooms and other disposable valuables. It was the only way to ensure survival. This journey, however, would be far longer and far stranger than anyone would have ever anticipated. Yeah, this is all about the Irish Fae, so I'm hyped for it. Chapter 1. So it begins. There's a dull ache in my belly, a hollow pang that's been nagging at me to eat the wee morsel Mom gave me this morning. One small potato. Let's hear him say it. Prata biag awam. One small potato, please. I ignore it again, but not without effort. My last proper meal had to have been last night's supper, but I know I can get by on a rumbling stomach a little while longer still. There should still be time to eat when my errand's over and done with, and that should be soon. Hi, Golden Dino, welcome in. I hope. It's been a long and tiresome day's ride, but I'm determined to reach Galway before the sun hangs high. There's no sense in wasting what little money I have on lodgings if I can go about my business right as the shops open and be on my way by midday. But traveling the road at night's a dangerous business, let alone with all those treasures in your saddlebag. You ought to pace yourself. Lots of desperate folk out there, especially now. Aye, but I'm just as likely to be robbed in the common lodgings as I am on the road, I told my da, firm and final. Though, if I'm honest, I'm not too sure how well these old things will sell. None of it's terribly fancy by city standards. Mama's doilies, our Sunday clothes, a bit of jewelry Mam's worn ever since her wedding day. It's not exactly the kind of thing to buy when times are tough, and from what I've heard, the disease on our crops hasn't just affected us. It's all over, this is. I shake my head. There's bound to be some wealthy folk willing to take these trinkets off our hands, even if not for much. If nothing else, it should get that bastard of a landlord off our backs a little while. The roads have been quiet, almost unsettling for this time of year. Of course, it's no surprise that I haven't seen other travelers these past couple of hours, but even early today, only a few folks crossed my path. Families, mostly, all bundled up and carrying what scarce few belongings their backs could manage, all slowly headed in the same direction as I. Now it's just me. Me and the dark thicket to my right and a river to my left. I gulp and eye the woods from time to time. A wall of trees line the roadside, swallowing up any light to be found in this moonless night. It makes me nervous, so I keep to the left as much as I can and spur my horse to quicken her pace. Whoa, steady now. Darby, my family's workhorse, slows to a restless halt in the middle of the road. I sigh, continuing to prod her, but she refuses to move 1 inch farther. I ought to sell you off, you stubborn old... I'm getting close. Just over yonder, I can see the beginnings of the city's silhouette on the horizon, but it'll take me a few more hours to get there still. All right. I suppose we can rest for a short while. A very short while, you hear? Affirmative in horse. Thank you for the translation. That's... I dismount and lead Darby off into the road and down to the riverside for a drink. As she wades into the water, I linger back on the shore and stretch my aching limbs, not willing to get my feet wet to keep a hold of the reins. My shoulders tense as I spin around to look down both ends of the road, searching for the source of the whistle I just heard. Huh? Is someone out there? No one answers me, nor do I see anyone in the darkness. I clench my jaw, peering back over my shoulder at Darby. She seems entirely undisturbed, yet too far for me to grab in a hurry. Not that she would go anywhere in a hurry either. I sigh and rub the bridge of my nose. Her ears are better than mine. It might have been nothing. Crunch, crunch. I lift my hand from my face and glare right across from me into the trees. I didn't see anything move, but I heard something. I'm certain of it. Hi, Sammy. Welcome in. Leave. Nah. Oops. Slowly, I back away from the road. I don't know what manner of creature or person a sound like that could have come from, but at this time of night, without some proper means of defending myself, I don't intend to find out. I whistle at Darby to come, and unsurprisingly, she doesn't move. Grimacing, I resign myself to riding the rest of the way to Galway with wet feet and wade into the water. Darby's none too pleased when I swing myself up onto her again, but after some gentle coaxing with my heel, she begrudgingly trudges back onto land. Yeah, the clouds do look very, very soft. There we go. Now, if you're quick about it, maybe there's a sugar cube for you when we reach the city. So hi, Ren. Hi, Darren. Darby huffs, but I see her ears perk up ever so slightly at the mention of sugar. With a chuckle, I steer her back onto the road and sound for her to pick up her pace. I glance over my shoulder a moment and squint, searching for the source of the voice I just heard. As I look, though, nothing appears to be there. With some hesitance, I turn back to the road in front of me. Ayo. You see that? A dark blur sprints out from the woods, too quick for me to react. Darby reels back on her hind legs in a fright, and though I cling as hard as I can to her, oh no, we're gonna fall off. Oof! I fall off, hard into the dirt. It takes a good minute for me to reorient myself as my ears ring loud and long inside my head, but soon enough my eyes begin to focus again. When I look up, I meet the cool stare of some hooded person standing over me in the dark, with one foot hoisted in the stirrups of Darby's saddle. Oh my god, they're stealing my fucking horse. Get back here, bitch! Get back, that's my horse! Huh? What you, fool? Fool! What do you mean, fool? Don't call me a fool. You spooked my horse. I did the right thing. I scramble to my feet as quick as I'm able, but it does me little good. The thief is too fast in the saddle, and before I quite know it, Darby and my saddlebag are disappearing off into the woods. I'm baffled. I don't know if the thief intended to go off-road, or if poor, panicked Darby forced the thief's hand, but I don't have time to question it. Stealing my resolve, I run into the woods and chase after the thief on foot. My chances of catching up are slim, but I have to try. I have to. The journey back is far too long to be sensible without a ride, let alone without money, without food. Even if I pressed on and made it home regardless, what would I say to my family when I arrive? I've lost our money, our valuables, even our horse. We'd be... Jaw clenched, I run as fast as my legs will take me, bolting through the trees, barely able to see more than 10 feet ahead of me, with only a path of snap branches to guide my way. Luckily for me, the thief seems to be riding straight through the woods. Had they instead decided to veer into another direction, I'm sure I'd lose them for good. It is odd, though, why the thief would choose to push further in. Would it not make more sense to simply keep on to Galway, where all those things would sell? After a while, I lose track of how long I've been running. All I know is I need to keep moving no matter how tired I am, or how my gut turns and growls. Fortunately, just as soon as I begin to fear that I'll never see the end of these woods, the trees begin to thin out into a glade. I pause for a moment to catch my breath, but the strangeness of this place does not escape me. At first glance, I think I must have gotten turned around and returned to the riverside, but the longer I look, I can see that this body of water is not a river at all. It's a small lake, surrounded on all sides by tall, jagged stones. I move closer on impulse and feel the heat from the water rising up on the pillars of steam. The surface also bubbles like a simmering stew. And if my eyes aren't deceiving me, the water looks red. What is all this? Yeah, what the devil? Yeah, how do we say what the devil? Kade on devil. And then we're learning so much. It's so educational. But of course, I'm talking to the air. No one else is here. No one else is here. Shit. My heart pounds as I spin around and search the grounds for Darby's tracks. I can't afford to get distracted like this. The longer I linger here, the farther the thief gets. Thankfully, it doesn't take me long to find a fresh pair of muddy prints. They came out of the trees near the exact same spot I did, then halt abruptly, slowly circle in a different direction. With haste, I go to follow this new trail, expecting it to wind back to the woods. But it doesn't. I stare down, beyond perplexed, as Darby's hooves stop short by the lake's edge. For a moment, I consider the possibility that the thief purposely waded into the lake to throw me off, but the longer I look into the water, I realize it's too deep. There's no gradual decline. It's a steep drop, dark, murky, and without end. If the thief did steer Darby into the water, they would have... Deep breath. Oh no! Splash. Oh my god, they pushed us into the water. Loch Beldragane is one of many, yet few waypoints between Tir na Nog and Innisfail. How do we...
Tir na Nog.
Tir na Nog. Nog. It's a Nog, not Nog. Nog. And Innisfail. Inishfall. Hidden away and forgotten by most. It stands unique for its relative ease of access and longevity. Yet similar to other waypoints of its kind, the threshold remains closed as to prevent accidental wayward travelers. Unless, of course, it has been deliberately opened. Next chapter. We're losing air. Splash. After flailing in the water for God knows how long, I finally find the surface again and drag myself onto the lake shore. It takes several ragged breaths before my vision clears. Did that cheeky bastard just try to drown me? I look around to see if I can work out which direction the thief went, but nothing looks familiar. No, it's more than that. This isn't the same lake I fell into, nor even the same grove. The ruddy water is now bright and clear and adorned with the lily pads. The familiar oak and ash trees are gone, replaced with mossy, gnarled willows and yews. The roots run so deep they cascade into the lake, and everywhere I step is bursting with wildflowers. The forest is so overgrown that the treetops almost block out the sunlight that's suddenly sprung up over the horizon. Despite the abundant shade, I'm perfectly warm. There's a slight breeze, but it's as soft as a kiss, spring-like. And awfully unusual for September. What is this? Glancing back at the lake, the water is still, without a trace of my unexpected swim. Christ almighty, am I dead? I pinch my arm and wince. I can still feel, but what if that's just my mind playing tricks on me? Maybe I hit my head in the lake and I feel a wave of panic wash over me as I think of my family waiting anxiously at home. They never wanted me to come here. They told me it was too dangerous. What have I gotten myself into? Robbed and drowned by the roadside? Ma'am, I'm so sorry. The sound of an approaching horse snaps me out of my thoughts. My heart skips a beat for half a moment, daring to think it might be Darby, but then...
Who's out there? In the name of the Queen,
Your voice acting. I scowl a bit. Oh my god. What's a damn English motherfucker doing in this way? There you go. That's the proper English translation for you guys. What's an English bitch doing out here? This must be hell. How do we say this must be hell? Kai figure ifran esha. Moving as silently as possible, I shield myself behind a thick yew and watch for glimpses of the stranger, or their horse. Up ahead, beyond the twisting limbs of this forest, I see traces of a dirt road. Darting between the trees, I advance closer, angling for a better vantage point. As I reach the tree line, I pause. The strangers come into view, like I'd hoped, and now I can start making out some fine details. A pink sash peeks out from the foliage, which appears to be draped across some kind of cloth armor. I squint. Is that a spear? What's the military doing roaming around with spears? They're quite short for a soldier too. This is just getting odd. I slump against the tree. My wet clothes feel heavy and my back is beginning to ache with tension. I can tell this stranger isn't my thief, and they don't look much like a British military either. Maybe they could help me sort some things? They probably at least know where we are. Sitting here feeling sorry for myself won't help. They may even be able to point me home, or to the pearly gates, I suppose. Though truth be told, I'm beginning to doubt that possibility. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I don't feel dread. Brushing my hair out my face and straightening my clothes as best as I'm able, I march out from the trees and over to them. When they see me, they come to a halt. Hopefully that's a good sign? However, as I begin to get a better look at their face, I'm momentarily taken aback. The person before me is unlike anyone I've ever seen. For one, their ears slope to unnatural points and are nestled under a mop of greenish-brown hair. My eyes linger on the scar etched across their slightly protruding chin. I stand up straighter, but quickly look away, careful not to reveal too much surprise on my face. No wonder things have been so strange. I'm not dead, but they're not human. You could easily make that mistake from far away, but face to face, there's no question. Here we go. It's one of the ace she. It's one of the she. They remind me of the stories Mam would tell me of the men in green, those who watch over nature's most untouched places. Despite my best attempts to present myself respectfully, though, the fairy looks furious with me. Without giving me time to respond, they seize me by the arm and drag me over to their horse. Wait! Please wait, I didn't mean any offense. They don't even hear me over their own voice, which hasn't stopped berating me with questions all too fast for me to answer.
Where have you been? Do you have any clue how worried I was? What have you been eating? What are you doing here? Why are you wet? Why do you look like you're starving?
Huh? After binding my wrists with some rope they had, they easily lift me onto the horse. Damn, they're stronger than they look. Yeah, my soul. Wow. But what's all this about where I've been? I just got here. I look down at them pleadingly and take note of the small swan emblem on their sash. Wait, hold on. Now you've got to listen to me. Whoever you think I am, you have the wrong person. Hi, Rickle. Unfortunately, my words fall on deaf ears. To be honest, though, the more they shout at me, the less angry they sound. If anything, they're acting more like a concerned parent. Sighing heavily, I slump into the saddle, now acutely aware that I'm being kidnapped by a fairy. At least I get a break from walking now. Come home safely, my treasure. Stick to the road and don't go astray. There's more than robbers out there to be mindful of. Mom, I'm not a child. You don't have to go on about those tales. Of course, dear. Just remember, don't give anyone your name. Mind your manners, and don't eat anything you're offered. After some time, the fairy and I arrive at an ancient-looking stone structure. The area is still and quiet. We're obviously the only ones here, save for the wildlife, I suppose. Foliage blossoms all around us, filling the air with the sweet scent of wildflowers. The fairy silently helps me off the horse. They stopped yelling a while ago, so we are forced to travel in sullen silence. As they lead their mare to the stables, I awkwardly fiddle at the rope around my wrists, but it's no use. It's too damn tight to wriggle out of. I take in my surroundings and spot a flourishing fruit and vegetable garden off to the side. Huge strawberries rise up the garden bed and spill over onto the path. My mouth waters at the sight. Entranced by the bulbous, ruby-red berries, I almost don't register my captor returning to my side. These should be ready soon, too. You grew all of this? Of course. Who else would? They give me a puzzled look. I just meant you aren't having any trouble with the land? I look at the garden. The pea pods are plump and near ripe, and a hint of wildness is present in the chaotic tangle of stems, leaves, and produce. Hi, Marsh. Welcome in. My thoughts turn back to our struggling farm and the people waiting for me to return. My stomach churns, and the encroaching hunger from the smell of strawberries turns into nausea. I suppose, whatever this place is, the blight hasn't come to it.
Trouble?
Trouble?
Why would I have trouble? Honestly, what's gotten into you, Daoine?
So they definitely confused us for somebody. Daona, no, I falter, remembering my mother's warning. At the time, I brush it off, but now I might need to think twice. Not them. Who else would you be? Wait, answer that when I have some parchment. Without giving me the time to respond, they lead me into the structure. Oh my god, I got a teddy bear. And they got a bunny rabbit. What else? What else? I like how they have like the flower apron right next to their spear. The bottom floor is surprisingly cozy, especially given the formidable exterior. Someone's gone to great lengths to make it feel like a home. The hearth is warm and comforting, potted plants and handmade dolls are scattered about, and there's the faint smell of baked bread lingering in the air. They guide me over to a small two-person table. I'll be back in a moment. As I wait at the table with not much left to do, I let my eyes wander over the decor. Ew, look at that. Wow. The tatting of the lace on this doily is done so well. I wonder if the fairy made all of these things. The dolls, the doilies, the knitted blanket on the back of the armchair. I nervously eye the comparatively crude monstrosity propped up in the corner, which I assume is some kind of training dummy by the arrows in its torso. The words "Traitor King" are scrawled across a sign slung over its neck, no doubt a testament to the dummy king's villainy. Suppose some things never change, no matter where you go. But what is it guarding? When the fairy doesn't come back immediately, I use the opportunity to rise and check. It's a holding cell. A remnant of this building's purpose, perhaps, before the fairy made it a home. Picking through the bars, I scan what may be in my future. Death by allergies. There's just a lumpy-looking hay bed, a suspicious bucket, and a thick layer of dust that covers everything. Better than a skeleton, I suppose. Looking around the room some more, I spot a desk in the far corner covered with scattered maps, notes, letters, and some wayward knitting materials. The maps have writing all over them, and the notes mention something about possible sightings that catch my eye. Yeah, investigate. I move some other papers aside and look closer at one of the maps. Strangely, it looks a bit like Ireland at first, but the longer I stare, the less sense it makes. There we go, there's the map. That's what we're looking at. Oh my god, stupid goat. Really? So clearly they're looking for something. Yeah. Ah! Ugh. Just question mark. The continent, or the island, is divided into 4 distinct regions: Phalius, Phineus, Murius, and Gorius. Each name is then followed by a subheading respectively: the province of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. I wonder what that means. Amid the various landmarks and city-like dwellings are symbols I've never seen before. The strange intersecting lines might be some kind of language, but I can't say for sure. As I keep looking, I notice some notes and scribbles jutting across the map in certain places. There's a little building in Phalius that looks a bit like this place labeled Outpost. Is that what this is? An outpost? Finally, I take a look at the top of the map. There, I see the presumed name for this strange land. Tir na Nog? Land of the Young? I've only heard that name in stories. Could it be true? Have I followed in the footsteps of, Oisin?
Oisin.
I decide to distract myself from this revelation by moving on to one of the letters that's already unfolded. There's a broken wax seal on the paper's edge depicting a swan, like the fairy's pen. To the Honorable Shay Feargless. I mumble the words out loud. Shay Feargless. That must be the fairy's name. The words honorable also clarifies some things. Seems I was right about them being a soldier, just not for any army I know. Suddenly I hear the sound of something being dropped on the table behind me. Caught red-handed. Lord, they're a Lightfoot. I try to turn around as casually as possible, as though I wasn't just prying through their personal affairs. Shay keeps looking between me and the desk, and I brace myself for a new round of lecturing. Instead, they begin talking rapidly.
Look, I know you don't believe me, but I really do think I'm onto something.
I'm close. I can feel it. Look! They run over to the map and begin pointing at areas and talking about things I don't understand. So the princess was being held in Duntalan, which is in Murius, right? Right? And, which princess is this again? Shay immediately looks at me like I have 2 heads.
What do you mean, which princess? The one I've been looking for the last 150 years.
Okay, well, how am I supposed to know? You won't listen to me, Shay.
The missing heir to King Henri's throne.
Attacked by the Unseelie. Disappeared without a trace. The missing heir. Oh, ringing any bells? I feel the blood drain from my face. 150 years? Just how old are they? Long living aside, though, that's an awfully long time to be looking for someone. Wonder if all this princess talk has something to do with that battered dummy in the corner? Not that I'm terribly inclined to ask. Anyway, it wasn't always Unseelie territory. Despite the attack, we held that spot of Murius right till the end. It only went to the traitors after the treaty, so I might have been wrong about her getting stuck over there, given the timing. So now I got a different thought. The princess was the closest to her druid more than anyone in the world, besides me, and that lot chose not to interfere with the war. So what if she's with them, hiding away in one of their sanctuary temple things? When we escaped, I told her to go somewhere the Unseelie can't go. Maybe she thought that meant somewhere not part of the war, or maybe she didn't choose at all. She could be as much a prisoner there for all we know. Since the druids refused to stand with us when we needed it most, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that they've kept the true heir tucked away for a rainy day. Hope that's not the case, but I don't know. Some of that lot feel as two-faced as the traitor. No offense.
When you get done in Tever, I'd like to ask you a few questions about your time training there.
Why won't you listen to me? You have the wrong person. I glance back at the map. There's Tamer and Phalius. I was right. I really am in Tir na Nog. A freshly war-torn one, if I'm keeping up with everything Shay's just said. I waver on unsteady legs for a moment. Shay stares at me suspiciously and clears their throat before continuing.
Of course, I wouldn't ask you to tell me any secrets. And I know you have to tend to the townspeople too, so it'd only be during one of your usual visits.
Assuming the Queen lets you after all this, I mean. I know she doesn't like me poking around about it. Hey, I'm sorry about earlier. I've just been worried sick, you know? But I shouldn't have been so rough with ya. Thank you. Does that mean you'll untie this rope? Not a chance. Now come over to the table. Well, at least we seem to be on better terms now. Maybe I can get them to listen to me? I finally see what they dropped on the table when they came in. They brought me a plate of bread and honey with a glass of milk. Go on, you eat while I interrogate you. I don't quite like the sound of that. What kind of interrogation is this? I stare at the food. My mouth salivates pleadingly. Ugh. My stomach may be all for it, but every other part of me is warning me not to. If I ever intend on going home, that is. I swallow down the hunger. I'm not hungry. Thank you. My gut groans in protest. Traitor. It's getting a sign, too. You sure about that? Aye, positive. Shay stares at me, frustration plain on their face, but they don't press the issue and sit opposite me. They take out a scroll and begin scrawling quickly, mumbling to themselves. Finally, they look up at me.
So, what were you doing by the loch?
So, funny you ask, and now I can finally tell you I'm not who you think I am. Their quill pauses as they wait for my answer. Explain. At last, I can explain. I take a deep breath before launching into my story. I was on my way to Galway.
Galway? What's a Galway?
Oh my god. Oh, I suppose they don't know where that is. It's a place on the other side of the loch. You went to Innisfail? Ireland. I didn't go there. I'm from there. Like I keep trying to tell you? Well, of course you are originally. The way they said that gives me flashbacks. What's a Galway? But no, the originally it gives me flashbacks. Oh my god, whenever I was like working at like Walmart and stuff, because you know I'm brown. My skin tone is not white, so people would ask me, "Oh my gosh, so where are you from originally?" And me going, "Oh, you know, I'm from Texas. I grew up in Texas, but I moved." No. Originally, Texas. I'm from Texas. I was born in Texas. Yeah, but like, where's your family from? Michigan. My grandmother's from Michigan. They don't like that answer. They want to know that I'm Mexican, but they don't want to ask it outright. Anyway, that gives me flashbacks. Of course you are originally. But you know you're not allowed to open the waypoint without permission.
Daoine, that's dangerous stuff to mess with.
I'm not Daoine. There has to be some way I can convince you. I was just minding my business when a thief stole my horse and pushed me into the lake. When I stumbled out again, it spat me up here instead of there. I'm not Daoine. It's just an honest mistake. Shay hesitates as they decide if they believe me. They go and pull a small bronze hand mirror out their desk before handing it to me. It's just me staring back. I have expected a different face to be looking in the mirror. Still looks like you to me. How is this possible? Who is Daoine? See, if I were you, I'd lean in a different direction all along. Just say your mom is Korean, your dad's from Zimbabwe. Watch their heads explode. Well, their heads already explode when I tell them that my grandmother's from Michigan, right? Like when I tell them, yeah, my grandmother's from Michigan. Yeah, my mom's from Texas. I'm from Texas. Like, I just go further up north, and that, like, breaks their brain. I don't tell them my grandpa's from Mexico because that would ruin the joke, but but it is ridiculous how they ask that all the time. You don't ever see the white people asking other white people where they're from originally. Maybe I should be asking who I am at this rate. You look like Dana, and I sure didn't see a horse thief on my way to the lock. Besides, how's someone like that supposed to open a waypoint? That sort of thing's far beyond the skill of a single person.
You realize how absurd this story sounds, right?
Why are you looking at me like that? It's the truth. Likely more than you do. Honestly, Dana, I don't know what to make of you now. You disappeared for months without a word, working up everybody from me to the court about where you've toddled off to. You know, some folk thought you were killed, right? Was a hi, Frank. Or worse, defected. Bet if I hadn't been coming down for my rounds, you wouldn't have even thought to come out to the outpost and let me know you weren't dead. Now you're spinning all these tall tales. Please, I'm not. Help me find the thief and I'll show you. Shay frowns and instead of answering me, grabs my forearm. This again? You have a bruise from where I grabbed you earlier. I can't see what they're doing, but they begin rubbing the blossoming bruise and humming softly. Can you please give me my arm back? Reddening, they drop my arm and rush off their desk. I look down and the bruise is gone. How did they do that? Glancing at Shay, I see they're busying themselves at their desk. I take a longing glance at the food and see a piece of bread is missing. Wait a second. Where did it go? Am I finally losing it? Oh no, don't tell me I ate it. No, don't tell me I ate it. While I try to figure that out, I hear Shay nailing one of those notes they just wrote on the exterior door of the outpost. This prompts me to turn back to Shay, who then leans out the window to make a strange call. I gasp as a strange being with dragonfly-like wings flutters in and takes the note. I'll meet you at the palace. They whisper the promise of the creature and give it an affectionate head scratch. Then it bounds back out the window. Gotta get that bread, yeah. Well, we can't eat the bread because we're human and we're in the realm of fairies right now. And if you eat food while you're in the fairy realm, you'll be stuck in the fairy realm. You won't be able to go back. They pause in front of me awkwardly.
You know that if you just tell me what you've been trying to do, I'd help you. You're basically family, Daoine. But if you don't tell me anything, then I can't.
I'm telling you the truth. Listen to me, Shay. I promise you I'm not lying. Then help me catch the person who started this mess. You've got to talk to the queen first. Are you sure you won't eat? Again, I appreciate it, but no. With a final sigh, they gather their things and lead me out the door. I guess it's time to meet the queen of the fairies. Oh Lord, what have I gotten myself into? Chapter 3. The ride to Tamar is quiet. Shay keeps glancing warily at me, like they want to ask me more questions, but change their mind every time. I suppose I'm not sure what to say, since nothing I tell them makes a difference. If only I had anything from my saddlebag. As we approach the city, we ride through the farmlands on the outskirts. The fields are all flourishing and ready to harvest, even though it feels like a beautiful spring day. We finally make it to the city gates, an imposing wall at the base of an enormous hill. Perched on the top of the hill is the palace, where I can only assume I'm being taken. My panic begins to rise as we get closer. If I don't find a way out of this, I may never get home. And who knows what else this Daoine I'm supposed to be has done. If Shay's this angry, imagine what the queen might be thinking. At least if I run, I might have a better chance of getting home. Shay takes this very moment to pull me closer to them.
Now we are gonna head straight to the palace. No stalling. Stay close. A lot of people have missed having you around to tend to them, and I don't want you getting dragged off.
Oh my god. If we stop for everyone who needs it, we'll never get there. And whatever you do, don't go bringing up that talk about Innisfail. I expect the queen won't take too kindly to hearing the court druids trying to flee the country. The court what? That sounds important. Shay doesn't say anything more on it, though, and leads their horse over to the stables before we enter the city. Kara's not a fan of the city. Too crowded. I nod sympathetically, not being much of a fan myself. Poor horse. Darby's nervous around people. The old girl doesn't even seem to pay attention most of the time. All right there, Shay? Been a while since you've been up. Just escorting the druid back, then I'm back to the post. Takes all my willpower not to snort at the idea of being escorted like this. Inside the walls, the city is bustling with activity. The people here, like Shay, are all mostly human-looking, save for the pointed ears and the few strange, otherworldly hair colors. A giant canal runs along the main thoroughfare, and the stores and homes are all inside gorgeous marble buildings. The blooming flowers that litter every corner and crevice fill the air with their pleasant aroma. Manam, I don't know what I expected, but it was nothing like this. I craned my head as we walked to see as much as possible. Down the alleyway, I get glimpses of shabby row houses and dimly lit stores. Shay and I walk side by side, and they have a firm grip on my bindings. At first, I'm annoyed by the short leash until an elderly woman suddenly grabs my arm, her bony grip locked around it. Daoine, dear! I was worried when I heard. I thought to myself, now who's going to make we Syrians medicine? I feel a bit bewildered getting picked out of the crowd. Seems Shay isn't the only one who thinks I'm Daoine. As I prepare to respond, Shay quickly cuts me off. Not just now, Mr. Power. I promise to get Daoine back to you, but first we gotta see the Queen. Of course, of course. You come around too sometime, Shay. She leaves without a fuss, and it isn't until she's out of our sight that we continue on. I feel my stomach churn as we walk. While no one else approaches Shay and I feel an abundance of eyes on me. Just how well known is Daoine? Are they some kind of doctor? I don't like this. How am I supposed to get out of here? The whole damn city knows my face. We come up to a busy crossroads filled with all sorts of food and bauble vendors. Amid the carts passing by, the large crowds, and many alleyways, this could be the perfect moment for my escape. Wait. I only get one chance, I've got to make it count. We continue down the main thoroughfare, where I peek into the shop windows and open doors to see the assortment of food, trinkets, and fabrics offered. One weaver in particular is showing off what looks like silk that shifts from silver to a rich purple color in the light. A small crowd of admirers clap and gasp on cue. The bauble vendor is calling out to pedestrians to lure them over to her shop. Some of her trinkets are shaped like creatures I've never seen before. A couple remind me of the one I saw Shay talking to. Some of them sparkle with what looks like real gems. I guess I wouldn't even be able to tell if they were fake, but I get the feeling I'm not wrong. Any one of these could probably sell for 10 times what I had in my saddlebag. The well-to-do looking customers don't seem too impressed, though. Everything here's so fancy. It wouldn't be so bad living in the city. I speak without thinking, temporarily forgetting I'm supposed to know what here is like. Shay gives me a confused look now that I'm quickly growing familiar with. The look that says Daoine wouldn't think the same. I guess if you don't look too hard, I mean, you know how it is, I stop mid-sentence, as though remembering my story. Maybe they're finally starting to believe me. But whatever they're thinking, I quickly shake the thought out of their head.
You know how it is. Put the nice stuff up front so no one sees what's happening in the back.
Of course, you know this lot don't care much anyway. Could be worse, I guess. Most people are doing alright now that the Queen lets you come down here and help. People like that. I wonder what Daoine does for the city. The Queen is letting her important druid come down to help. It must be pretty necessary. Even so, fairy problems are the least of my concern. Right now, I'm just trying to deal with my human problems. Speaking of which, we're approaching a busy intersection soon. This might be the chance that I need. We step into the street just in time for a carriage to come barreling towards us. I plant my feet into the dirt and defiantly refuse to budge, forcing Shay to either let go of the rope or be run over. I feel them release the rope with seconds to spare. We both stumble backwards as the carriage driver shouts obscenities at us. The traffic continues to flow, pushing Shay and I further apart.
You stay right there.
I sneak away. I can barely see them in the crowd now, and I use the opening to flee into the first alley I see. Sorry, Shay, but I can't afford to get dragged into more fairy business. I'm in way over my head as it is. As I run, tall market buildings begin to obscure the light in the alley, shrouding it in a bit of darkness. Hidden in the shadows, I eventually stop and lean against the cool stone walls and fiddle with the rope bindings. It's no use. The knot is secure and the rope is tight against my wrist. I skulk further down the alley in search of anything sharp. Also, hi, Tentia. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. The alley gives way to another area of town, where shabby storefronts have beggars and street food carts instead of the comparatively posh vendors I just left. I really don't need to be walking around like this. While doing my best to keep myself inconspicuous, I search the ground for anything of use. A shattered bottle by the doorway of a boisterous bar catches my eye. I dart over and snatch up my prize. Shielding myself from the bar window, I try to saw at the rope with the glass shard. But it's difficult. Even when I manage to twist the glass at an effective angle, my fingers will slip or my wrist will cramp up. Damn, Shay sure knows how to tie a knot. I heave a sigh and drop my head back against the wall, giving my poor hands a rest. Just as I do, I spot a small, fluttering light overhead. I squint my eyes as the light draws closer and hover by my still-bound wrists. I peer down at it and gasp softly. It's not a light at all, but a strange, glowing moth. Don't suppose you can do anything about this? As though in answer, the moth quickly flies away. Of course, fat load of help you are. Without much other choice in the matter, I get back at it. But thankfully, after a painful few minutes of struggle, I finally finish cutting the rope. As I'm soothing my aching wrists, the glowing moth returns. A little too late, aren't you? I'm talking to a magical fairy moths now.
Well. Imagine that. A Seelie Court druid missing for weeks. Found loitering near a bar that serves known criminals. What will people say?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Brandishing the glass shard, I turn to face the speaker. A tall, slender man stands behind me, his face half obscured by shadow. The moth flutters near him, even though he pays no attention. What does that say about you, then? I snap back at him, my voice stronger than I expected. The man steps into the light. He leans toward me until we're face to face. Begorra, he is the prettiest person I've ever seen. His golden eyes hone in on me, and he gives me a vulpine smile. Oh my god, a very fox-like fella.
Why, it says I'm doing my job, of course.
And what job is that? My voice is beginning to waver under his cold gaze.
Finding you. Now come, let your dear friend Keegan take you back where you belong.
Kay! Begorra. I haven't heard that in a while. And they got so many words in here. His smile is even more unsettling. Is everyone in the otherworld after Daoine? Yeah, escaping is getting more complicated by the second. Damn it, I really have no choice after all. I dejectedly walk alongside him as we venture through the alleys.
Very convenient that I ran into you here. I was just meeting with an associate regarding your whereabouts. It was quite useless, evidently.
Your associate? One of them, yes. I'd be a poor master of secrets without a variety of contacts. Master of secrets? That's some kind of fancy word for a spy? I guess that makes sense. I'd explain why he's in a place like this. I should probably be extra careful around him. Just my luck I'd run into him while everyone thinks I'm some important druid person. Maybe I can play the part long enough to get out of here? Rather than heading directly for the palace, Keegan instead leads me into a fancy-looking boutique. I've never been in such a shop before, but Keegan glides through it with clear familiarity. The two shopkeepers whisper frantically between themselves when they catch sight of us. As Keegan approaches the counter, their whispers turn into delighted grins and greetings. Oh, Master Keegan, back so soon? Or is this a visit of pleasure?
My lady.
Oh my god.
As much as I value my time here, this visit is not for me.
Keegan attentively takes her hand and briefly kisses her knuckles. The young woman flushes pink before shooting me a look of contempt. Yes, about my guest here. I'm bringing our flighty druid friend back to the palace, but... All three of them stare at me as I nervously rub my dirty hands on my clothes. I've never really put much thought into my looks besides the time I needed to mend a thing or two. Standing in front of their judgmental eyes, though, my meager clothing seems more shabby than before. You can see the problem. I simply cannot present the druid in this state. The queen would be devastated. Master Keegan, how considerate. The queen is truly blessed to have such a man in her court.
No.
And the pleasure is all mine. You sly motherfucker. You're lucky you're hot. I'll let it slide. But only because you're hot. I can't tell if Keegan's being sincere or not, but the couple behind the counter don't seem to care either way. They rush to bring me an assortment of outfits, all while fawning over him. Suppose he's pretty popular. The couple never speak to me directly. Instead, they talk to Keegan about me. I do notice that they seem to be shooting nervous glances at the glowing moth that curiously bobs near him at all times. They don't seem to like your moth very much. I'm not sure what possesses me to speak up. Likely the fact that the shopkeepers are ignoring me. The lady shopkeeper shoots me an ugly look before returning to her fabrics. If Keegan sees it, he says nothing. Ah, the Aishi usually aren't allowed inside. This couple's kind enough to make an exception for my will-o-wisp. I stared dumbfounded at the fluttering moth. I grew up hearing stories about the wisp, but to see one this close, it's different than I imagined. Cuter, I suppose? For a moment, I pause. Wait, but aren't you all Aishi? What's the difference? As soon as I say that, the couple stare at me horrified. Keegan actually looks caught off guard. Oh shit.
Much more vulgar than before. Intriguing, but unbecoming. What if I'd asked the difference between you and a horse? It amounts to the same thing.
Damn, bro. Sorry, I didn't realize. I didn't mean to offend you, man. I was just asking a question. I feel like if somebody asked me what was the difference between me and a horse, I don't think I'd be offended. I think I would just be confused, you know? But, yeah.
As you well know, you were already here when we, the two a day, were driven to Tirnanog. It's a foul human conflation to assume we're the same.
Aw, built different. So y'all have... I shouldn't call them that. They're Irish. I shouldn't call them colonizers. That's fucked up. Huh. So they're not fairies then? Or at least a different sort. Enough so that the conflation would cause offense. My first time in a fancy shop and I insult the owners. I'm not sure if Keegan cares about what I say, but I get the feeling the wisp means more to him than he lets on. Else he wouldn't keep it so close. What do you think, Master Keegan? The mauve caftan or the emerald gown? Keegan seriously considers each option before grabbing them both and walking over to me. He holds out the outfits for me to consider. Let's let the wearer choose, shall we? The fabrics are high-quality silks. I'll never earn enough in my lifetime to pay for these. I had to find a way out of this before I end up deeper in trouble. Never fear, Mochara. Mohara. Mohara. This is simply a business expense. Of course I will foot the bill. That's exactly what I'm worried about. The words come out before I can stop myself. You seem to have also gained some sass on your unexpected vacation. You simply must tell me what you got up to. After we meet with the queen, of course. For now, let's make you presentable. I flush at the reminder of my position and grab one of the outfits. I gotta look up what a caftan is. Let me Google. Ah, I see. So mauve caftan or an emerald gown. Well, I wear green, so I suppose I'll go emerald. I choose the dress, finding myself drawn to the way the fabric seems to glimmer when it catches the light. The silhouette is foreign to me and exposes more of my skin than I'm used to, but it makes sense for the climate. For a moment, I marvel on the detailing. The neck and the waistline are embroidered with floral embellishments and feel silken to the touch. I can't imagine how much time was spent on this gown alone. Once I'm finished changing, the shopkeepers gesture to me over to a large silver mirror so I can finally see myself in full. How do you feel? They're masters of the craft, no? I agree, they are. I did insult them. I gotta kiss their ass a little bit more to apologize for... The clothes fit me as though they had been made for me, and not hastily grabbed from a pile. I run my fingers along the fine stitching and feel how impossibly light the fabric is. I can see why Keegan frequents this shop so often. As we approach the counter, the tailors are both watching me in triumph. They may be snooty, but they obviously take a lot of pride in their work.
I must say, you did not disappoint me. Once again, I'm in your debt.
He's lucky he's hot. Oh, you flatter us, Master Keegan. Your patronage is thanks enough. Of course, we always enjoy your more casual visits. As do I. For now, I fear I must return to the palace. I'll send payment along with what I owe for my personal order. Keegan continues to discuss the details in between their saccharine compliments. By the time we leave, they have invited him for tea no less than 3 times. Meanwhile, I still can't stop thinking about what it means that I accepted these clothes. Keegan says I won't have to pay, but the fairies, whatever kind he fancies himself to be, don't just give things away for free. When we make it to the palace, for a moment, I'm struck by its opulence. Intricate canals and waterfalls decorate the grounds, and pink roses cover a significant portion of the land. We're greeted by a grandiose marble staircase and large pink banner bearing the same swan and roses I saw back at Shay's outpost. Hi, said welcome in. The stone is carved into a mix of antiquity and long, sinuous lines that give the palace a beautifully unique appearance. Moss and roses grow along the ground and walls and cover the elaborate fountains in green and pink so that there's a trace of wildness about the place. The palace feels old, too, but not in a bad way. More timeless than anything. If I wasn't terrified for my life, I'd love it. It's the most grand building I've ever seen. Keegan seems unfazed by the grandeur as he casually greets the guards and guides us to the gates, then over a bridge. Watch your step. It's a long way down. I raise my eyebrow and glimpse over the side of the bridge. When I do, I have to force myself not to make any sudden movements. I'd expected to see a lake or something down below, but all those waterfalls are just flowing into some great big pit. I can't even see the bottom of it. Hello? OSHA violation? Where the fuck are my handrails? Where are my safety rails? Where's the safety net? I'm reporting, y'all. I'm reporting your builder. Instinctively, I walk closer to Keegan until we put a bit of distance between us and the pit. I finna be in the pit. As we enter the palace itself, servants and nobles line the halls as we pass through, whispering behind their hands and staring at us. At me. The servants are watching with concern, their eyes flicking between me and my escort Keegan. The nobles, on the other hand... Oh my, I think we're in for a show today. Didn't they run off to join the Unseelie? Vaguely seem like they're anticipating my demise? I squint as I note the word Unseelie. I have heard it before, I think. Shay mentioned something about it, didn't they? Despite the columned halls being open to the air, it feels claustrophobic as I realize I'm the center of attention. This is like some kind of nightmare. As we make the long journey down the hall, I can't help but think that whatever the Queen has in store can't be worse than this. Real and true.
Quite impolite, aren't they? Gawking so openly. You'd think they'd have better things to do.
You would think, Keegan. You would think, but and yet, here they are. I'm just admiring the view, looking about the scene, you know. admiring the view. Stares at his face. Is he trying to make me feel better? I give him an anxious smile in return. Keegan blocks me from the crowd as he leans over to hold the door to the throne room. His expression never changes, but his voice drops so that only I hear him. Oh, he's not too bad of a guy. Are you ready to go in? Nope. I mean, I don't think I should say not yet. I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, I'm ready. No use in putting it off anymore. Keegan nods as we enter the throne room. To my surprise, the queen is nowhere to be seen. Instead, there are 3 very important-looking men talking amongst themselves. Oh my god, this guy's serving cunt right now. Look at him. Look at his ass. Look at him go. He looks so good, dude. Holy shit. All 3 of them turn to look at us as we walk in. Ah. Let's see. Okay, we got Sether, Kether, and Tether. Okay, the brothers are named after the last High Kings of Innisfail. The men share a cautious look before approaching us. Well, if it isn't Keegan, I'd wonder where our... Mosteruin?
Keegan
Mosteruin. I'd wonder where our Mosteruin had slithered off to. The red-headed man chuckles at some joke only he understood. Oh, so he's serving cunt, and yet he's a bitch. Don't be mean to him. Don't be mean to him. He helped me. He bought me a nice outfit. The other 2 men are praising me, both looking at me as though I was something foul. Wonderful. I get all gussied up, and the fops still turn their noses up at me. Isn't Daoine supposed to be one of them? Or do all the wealthy folk just have a second sense for spotting the poor? Here's hoping they aren't too close to the queen. I see her returning the fledgling druid. Her Majesty will be most grateful, I'm sure. Oh yes, she does love her pets, doesn't she? Bitch? I take it back. Your pussy stink. How dare you? Sether's eyes remain on Keegan, and I wonder if he was including that in the statement.
I only do as she asks of me. I'm sure Her Majesty will feel the same about you.
Yeah, you tell him. You tell him, Keegan. Fuck him up. Fuck him up, Keegan. And what are you implying by that, Master of Secrets?
Her Majesty must be reliant on us all to watch out for her best interests. After all, rulers these days are dropping like flies. No?
I know he's throwing shots right now. The courtiers share a furtive glance, but Keegan gives no indication he saw it. Sether's face rushes through several expressions before settling on indignation. However, we don't get a chance to hear his response. Let's go next chapter, baby. The Rose Queen. Before the sneering courtier can fumble in a final retort, a chorus of trumpets erupts through the throne room, ceasing all the chatter around us entirely. I spin around, following the collective gaze of the court until it settles on the back door, where an ostentatiously clad footman stands at attention. Presenting her illustrious royal majesty, as regal as the swan, a flower among women, beautiful and benevolent, a paragon of grace and before the Everdawn dims, if you will. I got Aoife Elavon. Yeah. Aoife Elavon, Queen of the Tuatha De Danann and Sovereign of the Seelie Court. The doors practically burst open from behind the footman, who scurries off to the side before it can be trampled by the ensuing procession. The scene is a spectacle to behold. Hordes of finely dressed folk all flutter around a lace-shrouded litter, and everyone else in its immediate path are either forced to disperse or join in the revelry. Some of the entourage play music, sing, or toss dried flowers out into like a rice at a wedding. Most, though, are crowding in and around the litter itself, all speaking up to the woman inside, their voices converging in an incomprehensible cacophony. I unthinkingly make a step towards the scene, feeling almost compelled to get a better look, but no matter how I strain my neck, I can barely see past all the people in the litter's wake. Suddenly, I feel a hand on my shoulder.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. The Queen's entrances stop for none.
Damn.
She has an outfit though, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's got a whole professional marching band leading her in, dude. Right, yes. Keegan smiles at me and leads me out the way of the litter, but I keep my eyes firmly affixed to it, even as it passes me by. I can't help myself. I've heard stories about the Queen of the Fairies ever since I was a wee thing. Even if she isn't quite a fairy in the strictest sense, she must be a marvel to have this kind of escort following her every step. Sadly, all I can make out is her faint silhouette. Woohoo! Did you see Her Majesty's gown? What a splendid design. I simply must... What? Ugh! Watch where you're going, you little oaf. I turned my head around, following the raucous that just broke out. Squinting some, I watch as a variety of courtiers are seemingly pushed and shoved aside, all echoing a similar, aghast sentiment. I can't see who's doing the pushing, though. They'd have to be awfully short to... Stand aside! I have urgent news for the Queen! Right, that explains it. Ah, I see our little friend is back. It should be amusing. I wring my hands, wincing as I notice the scowling faces around us. Lord almighty, they're doing this because of me, aren't they? They're trying to tell the Queen that I'm missing, meanwhile I'm standing over to the side in like a fancy new dress. I look up at Keegan and clear my throat. Should we, intervene? Why? I don't much want them getting in trouble on my account. Well, then I suppose we can endeavor to try, but I make no promises. I breathe a sigh of relief. Thank you. You may wish to hold... Suddenly, Keegan leans in close and lowers his voice to a whisper.
My services come at a cost.
Aw, shit, motherfucker. I slink away from him and narrow my eyes, suspicious. Meaning what, exactly? Keegan chuckles, seemingly amused by my hesitation. I'll let you know soon. With that, he walks away before I can change my mind. Sighing, I follow after him. Leading the way, Keegan swiftly glides off in the direction of the litter, weaving around the other members of the court as nimbly as a cat. I do my best to keep up, but it takes a good deal of effort on my part. He's much faster than I expected him to be. By the time we catch up to Shay, they've very nearly gotten to the litter already, leaving a trail of foul-faced nobles in their wake. Still, despite the indignant glaring, all the nobles seem to quiet down as they spot us following in behind the lowly guard. Or rather, as they take notice of Keegan. Gracious, what is that sound? It appears to be one of the guards assigned to the outer posts, ma'am. I see. Then they must be lost, poor dear. Perhaps you could redirect them? Yes, Your Majesty. Oi, Bruni! That's enough of that. We'll not be having none of your nonsense today. Back to your post. I squint as we start to overhear the chatter in front of us. Aren't Bruni's Aishi? A nook-dwelling Aishi known for their shyness and keeping a clean house. Occasionally the term is offensively misappropriated to refer to domestic servants among them. This term originates in Scots Gaelic. Ooh. As though reading my mind, or perhaps my face, Keegan immediately chimes in with a laugh. Oh, they won't like that. It's true, but they won't like it. What do you mean? Why is she calling him a Bruni? Oh, surprised you didn't know, Daoine. Our friend here wasn't always a guard. Before enlisting in the army, they were a servant from a long line of Shenclea.
Shenclea. And then the plural. Shenclehi.
Shenclehi. In the last royal family service, Shay in particular waited on the crown princess before she was slain. Of course, Shay will swear up and down that the princess is still out there somehow, so it's just a bit of teasing, see? Once a dutiful servant, always a dutiful servant, even in death and delusion. My gut sinks as he says that, and so I glance over to Shay. Sure enough, they look furious.
I'm not a brony.
Yeah, you tell him, Shay. Anyway, I'm afraid I have to insist. Feargless, I'm warning you. That won't be necessary, friend. They're just carrying out orders. Both Shay and the other guard turn to face Keegan as he interjects himself into the conversation. The other guard stands up straighter as soon as he catches her eye, but Shay... What?
Hey.
Huh? You! There you are! I resist the urge to duck behind Keegan as Shay notices me, lest I further incur their wrath. Instead, I try to smile and give them a bashful wave. Keegan, for his part, ignores them entirely. As you can see, I sent Feargless to alert the Queen that the court druid was in my custody. We wouldn't want to leave her waiting, now would we? The other guard looks me over with a mixture of shock and suspicion, but soon enough, she gives Keegan a stiff nod and turns back around again. Your Majesty, it's the human. Master Keegan has the human. The guard's announcement seems to reverberate through the air, passed along in a quick and successive chain of whispers. It's as though, all at once, the eyes of the court have shifted from Shay onto me. Before I know it, the procession and all of its pageantry has come to an abrupt halt in the middle of the room. I fold my arms and frantically look between Keegan and Shay, unsure of what to say or do with all of this newfound attention on me. But neither one of them seems like they're going to do much of anything, given Shay is understandably a bit mad at me, and Keegan, well, he just seems like he'd rather watch me squirm. Christ. Why did my double have to be the most conspicuous bleeding person in the whole other world? Hello there.
Oh my god.
I startle as an unseen voice cuts through the whispers of the court, and like clockwork, all of the attention is pried off me and onto...
There are you, little rascal. Where in Danu's name have you been, darling?
It is such a long story, and nobody will believe me. Do you have any idea how devastated I was? It's true. Her Majesty very nearly canceled her plans to visit the Summer Palace. Oh my god, dude. Eat the rich, man. Even the Fairy Queen. She's giving some Marie Antoinette let them eat cake ass vibes, dude. My coffee is cold. I have no time to react to any of this, at least not appropriately. As she speaks, the Queen unceremoniously bursts from the litter of her own procession and proceeds to strike straight towards me. Every member of the court is forced to make way, and unlike Shay, they do so with expedience. Likewise, once the Queen reaches me, I am rendered completely helpless as she scoops my face into her hands and squishes my cheeks. Ugh! Oh.
Look at you. So pale, so thin.
Thank you.
Really, darling, what were you eating this whole time? Nuts? Berries off the forest floor?
Actually, I was eating a small potato.
Say no more. The thought of it is simply too much to bear.
The Queen suddenly wrenches me free, and I find myself stumbling backward, in part due to the surprising amount of force behind the act, but also mostly out of flustered embarrassment. I think my whole face must be as rosy as her hair. Maybe Keegan wasn't lying before about the Queen being distressed. Keegan, I ought to kiss you, or at the very least reward you for what you've done here today. Well, I suppose I should hardly be surprised that our Master of Secrets would be the one to bring our dear, sweet darling Daoine home. Part and parcel to the territory, no? As the Queen says this, I notice Shay running up behind her, their mouth agape. Though strangely, despite how urgently they tried to alert the Queen of my presence, they do not interject against the queen's assertion. Too true, my queen, though. Actually, it was Shay that found me. We ran into Keegan along the way. Oh, is that so? Yes, though they were in quite the state when I crossed their paths. I thought it best not to parade the court druid through the throne in rags. Quite. Well, you have my gratitude for your services, Sweet Pea. I shall inform your superior to ensure that you are appropriately rewarded. You may return to your post. Thank you, Your Majesty. But...
Darling.
Was there something else?
Yes, Mum. Permission to escort the court druid back to their premises.
And if I may be so bold... May. That's a first. I just woke up. Oh, hi, cute elves. Not elves, they're fairies. This is the Seelie Court, Ren. We're in the Seelie Court right now. I think under present circumstances, someone ought to stand guard. So hi, Cryo. Welcome in. At least for now, while it's still unsafe. I feel a chill run down my spine. Stand guard? How will I hope to get home then? After all, the Unseelie... No.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. Cute fairies. Yeah, cute fairies. Also, hi, Coffee. Welcome in. No, that will not be necessary. Return to your post. Is this fucking Gymnopede number 2? I was not expecting just like a song I literally listen to on the regular when it's raining outside to suddenly start fucking playing in this game. Yeah, I literally listen to this song all the fucking time. What a jump scare, dude. Shay, for a brief moment, stares at the queen with an irritated bewilderment best reserved for, well, anyone else. Clearly that means the devs have bass tastes. I don't really come across it in games. It's like it's a classical music piece, you know? I love it. It's a beautiful piece, but it's also just like, normally I only ever hear it whenever I'm purposely clicking on it. But ultimately, Shay just nods stiffly to Keegan and the queen and begins to walk away.
Thanks. See you around.
Well, how very exciting.
Your Majesty.
If you wouldn't mind. I have some important matters to bring to your attention. Developments in your absence, shall we say. Yes, of course, but later. Poor Daoine looks exhausted. I simply must see them to their cottage first. Naturally. By all means then, shall we be off? We? Oh, really now,
Keegan.
She is giving absolutely a monarch that is seemingly very frivolous. So hi, fine, welcome in.
I can't say I'm surprised you'd set your sights on this one, but am I not entitled to a little time alone with them too?
Oh my god, we're a hot commodity. Clearly you should bond with the devs about this shared musical taste. 1000% less creepy than bonding over coconut milk Americano. God, there's no escape. There's no escaping the coconut milk Americano. For a brief moment, Keegan appears visibly surprised, but the expression's gone as quickly as it came.
I can't say I quite catch your meaning.
I am but your humble servant, Ivy. Perhaps I merely wish to bask in your presence, engage in an intelligent conversation. No doubt, but there's no need to flatter me. Keegs. Oh my gosh, she's got a nickname for him and everything. It is perfectly natural in my eye for you to be intrigued by our Daoine here. I imagine their disappearance is more than a little vexing to the Master of Secrets. If you insist. Keegan's eyes linger on me for a moment before he turns back to the Queen and smiles. Well then, you know where to find me, so I shall take my leave. Keegan bows politely to us both, but before he goes, he catches my hand and places a kiss on my fingers. Oh my oh my god. He's kissing my hand. Oh my god. You can't just say that with that fuckboy ass face, dude. Incorrigible, that one. With that, the Queen spins around and claps her hands together. The court will adjourn for today in light of newfound developments. As you were, gentrymen. Also, hi, CJ, thank you so much for the almost 2 years. Oh my god, 23 months. Thank you, thank you. There are a few grumblings from within the crowd, but with the Queen's dismissal, most begin to filter out the throne room, leaving me alone with her. Yes, like a foil. I swallow. Now, shall we be off? The Queen looks at me expectantly. This is making me want to continue my Irish Duolingoing. Yeah, they have like a whole glossary and even like pronunciations for everything built in. It's really nice. Maintain decorum. I bow my head in quiet acknowledgement, allowing the Queen to take the lead. Though, if I'm frank, actually I'm Dere, but you know, it's just about all I can manage with what these butterflies whirling about my stomach. Besides, I haven't the faintest idea where she wants to go. Did Daoine often take private walks with the Queen? No, that can't be right. They weren't that important to the court, were they? Also, hi, Maithe. Without another word, the Queen walks out the throne room, and so I follow at a respectable distance behind. That's what you do with those royal sorts, isn't it?
My oh my, it seems our Dana has up and vanished yet again.
Whatever shall I do? Huh? Your Majesty? Abruptly, the Queen stops in the middle of the hallway. Oh, there you are. Thank goodness. Do keep up, darling. If I wanted to talk to the air, I would hardly ask you to pitter along behind me, as I do. Of course. With a slight blush on my cheeks, I sheepishly quicken my pace until I'm standing beside her. Apologies, Your Majesty. The Queen clicks her tongue. Gracious, enough of that. We're no longer in the public eye. Between us two, Ivy will do just fine. All right, Ivy. Much better. With that, Ivy leads me out the palace. Into the gardens, which enjoy a little side peek over there. Manam, I can't help but gasp. I've never seen such an immaculate garden. The flowers, the waterfalls, the pond. It's like something out of a picture book.
They are pretty, no?
I can never
quite get used to it either.
I never know which lines are voiced or not. Really? Didn't you grow up here? I bite my tongue. In hindsight, the question was a bit impertinent. Sometimes I forget how new you are. No, I didn't grow up here. I took my first walk through these gardens on the day of my coronation. I raise an eyebrow at her, a bit perplexed. I won't claim to be privy to the ways of royalty, let alone fairy royalty, but why wouldn't a princess be raised in the capital? Then... It is lovely out, though. Can you hear the birds chirping? Say. I understand if you're too tired, but would you care to walk with me a little while longer? There's no need for you to rush to your abode. I pause for a moment, thinking it over. On one hand, the Queen may very well just want to take a stroll with me, but on the other... I can't quite get a proper read on her. She's certainly opulent and a touch melodramatic, but there's something else there behind that aristocratic smile. Something unpredictable. Something I can't quite place. I don't know if I can trust it. And while I'm still play acting as Daoine, it may be best to keep a low profile and avoid being alone with these people as much as possible. Then again, who am I to refuse the queen? She's giving me a choice, but is it one, really? I rub my chin for a moment and then sigh. Well, I suppose I wouldn't mind taking the long way around.
Darling!
Wonderful! With a smile, Ivy proceeds to pull me down a winding garden path lined with great big bushes of flowers and wispy willow trees. A gentle wind stirs up all the smells into the air as we pass the pond. I feel a cool mist against my skin. I feel remiss only calling it beautiful, but I'm no poet. Beautiful will have to suffice. Though, if I'm honest, I can't help but feel like there's something unnatural about it too. All the flowers seem so fresh, as though they all just bloomed today and would stay that way forever. It's nothing like the flowers in Ireland. Such fragile, imperfect things, and so quickly gone. What are you thinking? I jumped a little, jostled out of my thoughts by Ivy's question. As I go to meet her eye, I'm surprised by the way she's looking at me. It's almost sad? Pitying, maybe? Thinking? Your expression seems very solemn. Feeling homesick? I swallow, feeling a little color leave my cheeks. Dana. The druids are not the only ones familiar with Dryocht, you know. I squint, a little confused. I'm not sure I understand. It was not a particularly well-kept secret that you wished to leave us, Diana. And by your appearance, the change in your aura, you succeeded. You returned to Innisfail. So somebody believes me that I went there. Okay. Alright, finally. I take it was not quite what you were expecting, was it?
Truthfully, I sympathize. You were not Tuatha Danann. This was not supposed to be your home. Longing for that which never was can be just as painful as longing for something lost.
But I digress.
Darling?
I trust now that you've undergone this pilgrimage, you're here to stay. Yes? This is a tough one. I know I can't tell her the truth. Not now, not this deep into my accidental deception. It'd be far too dangerous. The fair folk are an unpredictable sort after all. But I can't bring myself to lie either, and find myself avoiding her eye. Well, even so, I must admit there's something on my mind. Something I wanted to talk to you about, specifically.
There is trouble in the air, Dana. More trouble than I'd care to entertain.
I raised an eyebrow. How do you mean? This was before your time, but I imagine the druids familiarized you with the War of the Courts well enough. It ended only 50 years ago. Half a lifetime to be human, I suppose, but not to us. Frankly, by the way some talk of it, war never really ended, it only paused. In any case, I don't expect you've heard the news yet, have you? I find myself fidgeting anxiously, even though I have no possible idea what she's on about. Guess not. Just as well. Ivy pauses for a long moment. Her gaze drifts out over the pond, pensively watching as a bevy of swans bathe themselves under the waterfall.
Lugan, the traitor, is dead.
If only I knew who that was.
Ordinarily, this would be cause for celebration. He was a miserable tyrant well past his due. gods had any sense in them, his soul would be left to wither and rot.
Oh, that must be the Traitor King. The person they mentioned before, the Traitor King. But after the war ended, Lugid was left impotent and uninterested in furthering his ambitions. His son, however, is young and full of vigor. I see. So, what does that mean? It's too soon to be certain. But it's widely believed that man is just as much of a hot-headed fanatic as his father was. My court already whispers of war. This land has already seen far too much violence. Ivy grows quiet again, and Lynn looks at me expectantly. My throat dries as I rack my brain for anything useful or even comforting to say to her. What do the Unseelie want? Maybe there could be a, peaceful solution? Oh, saying that out loud. I'm never getting into politics.
What do the Unseelie want? Darling, they want what everyone else in this wretched world wants. Power.
Power and control. I'm gonna make you fall. And power is not often peacefully begotten. Including yours? I bite my tongue as soon as the retort slips out, but Ivy only stares at me. A shiver rolls down my spine as her eyes seem to watch my face closely. I try not to sweat too hard.
Well, I suppose it's all a matter of perspective, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't trust you.
But if you're asking, impertinently so, about the relative state of my hands, you'll find them far cleaner than most.
But doesn't that just mean somebody else got their hands dirty for you instead?
Never forget that the Unseelie throne, such as it is, was won at the cost of blood-laden streets in every city, town, and village across Murias and Gorias. Any who dared to defy Lugid's brutish warlording was put to the sword.
I just don't trust royalty in general. I'm just distrustful of royalty in general. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I didn't mean... Nah, you should have held your stance. Ivy holds up her hand, silencing me. She's deflecting! She's deflecting! No, you're fine. I am no lover of sycophancy, and do not wish to curtail your tongue. In fact...
In the coming days, I may need your assistance. For the sake of the realm.
Doubt royalty. Yeah, dude. For real. No matter how nice her tibbies are, I shall not be dissuaded, alright? I will not ignore the truth, the facts of the case, alright? Thrones are always inherently bloody, alright? Even yours, even your crown has blood on it. Just because you didn't put it there doesn't mean that somebody else didn't. And I recognize that. What? You sound so surprised. The Druids have always been invaluable consultants to the kings and queens, you know? Even in matters of war. But I'm just a human? Yes, well, I believe that's a good thing in this case. You have no stake in this fight. Your eyes are new, your perspective clear. I need someone around me who isn't impeded by ulterior motives. I mean, if it's got blood on it, it's probably just because somebody poked themselves with it. It is rather sharp looking, isn't it? Yeah, it does look rather sharp. I feel my heart thudding in my ears. I'm not sure what to say. Well, honesty is a becoming trait, and not one often shared among my court. If you can promise me your honest thoughts, I will expect no more of you. A twinge of guilt turns the inside of my stomach as I look over at the queen, who seems a good deal more honest herself than she had been before in the palace. It almost makes me wish I could stay and help, but I'm not Daoine. I have no business being here, and my own duties to care for. Still, I can't quite bring myself to disappoint her. I'll do my best, Miss Ivy. Really? You're too cute. Just Ivy, darling. All these misses and ma'ams make me feel old. I'm only 299, you know. It takes a considerable amount of effort to not let my mouth fall open. Well, I think I've held your ear long enough for now. Though I dare say this was rather enjoyable. We ought to do it again, no? That would be nice, ma'am. Oh, is that cheap guy here?
I hear. I'll be sure to remember that. And I'll have you know, I can be quite mean when I want to be.
Oh my god, femdom? Also, hi, Vivi, welcome in. Mean? Quite. I'm not certain what she means by that, but I have a feeling that pressing that point would put me in a precarious spot, so I don't. Well, another time for now. Let's get you home. Save. With a tentative silence now between us, Queen Ivy guides me through the gardens to a gate in the palace walls. At a glance, it seems to lead back to the forest. Strange. I wonder why Daoine's residence would be outside the palace grounds if they're in the employ of the queen. Do you have your key with you, darling? Oh. In a brief attempt to save face, I pat myself down as though I was searching for something I would usually have on me. No, sorry, I must have misplaced it. Oh dear. Well, we shall have to remedy that. But no matter, I have one here. Ivy hums softly, after which she seemingly snatches a key from thin air. That is, unless I missed her digging around for a pocket in all those dress folds. Nevertheless, she's unlocked the gate before I can think on it much further. Oh my god, we got a free house in this economy? As I suspected, the other side of the gate does indeed extend into the forest, but I'm surprised again by how far we end up walking. Whoever this Daoine truly is, they certainly valued their privacy. Look at the little cottage. Look at it. Eventually, Ivy and I reached a glade where a small but homey sort of cottage sits hidden away from prying eyes. The windows are dark, and the garden off to the side looks overrun. It's been a while since anyone's been here, that's for sure. Though strangely, the rose bushes look a bit more well-kept than the rest of the flora. Well, except for the fact that they're currently being munched on. By a very, very stupid horse. Oh my! Is that your horse, Dana? I don't think I've ever seen it before. Darby, you motherfucker, you're the reason I'm in this mess. I don't answer because my jaw's fallen completely slack. I can't believe what I'm seeing. But how? Why? Darby, what are you... Ugh, don't eat those. I see that damn fool of a horse's ears stiffly flip backwards, but otherwise she doesn't acknowledge me at all. I suppose that does answer my question. Flushing, I turn back to the queen, rigid and alert. Oh, yes, but we were separated. Interesting. Well, never mind. I suppose now this is where we part ways. I would invite myself inside, but I'm sure the place is overrun with dust, so I shall leave you to your housekeeping. Hi, Jeannie. Do keep your ear to the ground, though. I imagine I will have a need for you shortly. Right. Thank you, Queen Ivy. Hastily and very much distracted, I attempted something of a bow to the queen before sprinting off towards Darby, my mind swirling with questions. Do try to keep out of trouble, Aaron. For a moment, I glance over my shoulder, certain I heard Ivy say something else, but she's already turning out of the glade by the time I do. I shake my head and press on after Darby, who, despite my hollering, keeps chewing on those rose bushes without a care in the world. Bad horse! Stop that! You're gonna get stuck here if you eat those. The mare raises her head and stares at me mid-chomp. Darby, I'm warning you, She swallows. My head falls back as I let out an exasperated sigh. Great. Just perfect. How'd you feel if I left you here then, Leave you to the fairies? Darby's ears press down as she huffs at me. Well, you're the one who decided to eat the fairy food. Or, fairy flowers. Anyway, point is, first thing people tell you about the underworld is that you never ever eat the food. I clutch my stomach as it suddenly groans. Damn, how long has it been since I ate? It was night when I stumbled here and morning when I popped out the lake, but it still feels like morning now. The sky hasn't changed at all. I sigh, shaking my head again. Doesn't matter how long it's been. I'm now well and truly hungry. But if I eat anything from this place, I'll be trapped here. I slap my forehead, the solution suddenly dawning on me. The potato! Oh my god. I hurry over to Darby, but I have a sinking feeling in my gut. Also, hi, Queen. Please let it be there. Please let it still be there. My face falls as I search both sides of her, but it's no use. The saddlebag's gone. Damn it. I suppose I shouldn't be all that surprised. It's already a small miracle that I managed to find my horse again, but with all that's gone on, I'd almost forgotten what led me here to begin with. Anything of value my family had in that world was in the saddlebag. Even if I get Darby and get out of here now, how am I going to be able to face my family? I fold my arms in close, suddenly feeling very, very helpless. Drawn out of my thoughts, I look over at Darby, who I thought just made a sound, but she's still just eating the flowers, not paying me any mind at all. Duh. I feel a slight chill run through me as another strange sound comes out of nowhere. I turn around and come face to face with another horse. The purple-maned beast is far larger than any horse I've ever seen, and it stares at me with such an intensity that I reflexively take a few steps back. Stranger still, though. Duh. Oh. Nah? Is that it can talk. A bead of sweat rolls down my forehead as I freeze, holding the creature's eye. Hello? Its gaze lingers on me a while longer, until abruptly the horse reels back and whinnies. Bewildered, I stand and watch as it turns and gallops off into the Seelie woods with my saddlebag on its back? Hey! Get back here with that! I move without thinking, not willing to let this chance slip through my fingers. I have no idea why this other horse would have my saddlebag, but I can think about that later. Oh my god, sweet rolls. I want sweet rolls. I bolt over to Darby and swing into her saddle. Surprised, she immediately tries to throw me off my balance, but I hold firm with my knees and pull in her reins. Ooh, not this time you don't. She acquiesces to my control and kicks off into a gallop at my command, tearing off into the woods behind the horse thief. Of course, the other horse is a good deal faster than Darby and I, so I only just see the tail end of it all through the woods. Still, I figure the damn thing has to come to a stop eventually, and when it does... Wait, where'd it go? I reel in the reins, forcing Darby to come to a rather abrupt halt, of which she's none too pleased about. I ignore her grumpy whines of protest, though, as we have a more pressing concern now. Namely, not only has the horse we were chasing just up and vanished, but it's left some kind of white, shapeless void behind. I stare, utterly perplexed as the void ebbs and flows. Looking down at the ground, I also notice a set of hooves leading into it. Well, time to go, I suppose. Initially, I hesitate. I have no idea what that thing is or why the other horse would have run through it, assuming that it intended to do that to begin with. Before I can really weigh my options, though, I see it begin to fade. Now left with a split-second decision, one that could cost me my saddlebag forever, I Oh, for Pete's sake. I spurred Darby into the void. Call of the Crows. I feel a tugging in my navel, like some force is violently dragging me forward, and a crisp wind hits my face. Whoa, now. Tugging in the reins, I call for Darby to stop so I can reorient myself. What in the hell? We got mushrooms. Winks of golden light illuminate through the canopy of the otherwise dark and foreboding forest, now absent of any features of spring. Nothing green remains. All the trees are painted in cool autumn hues, and the leaves fall with such frequency that I'm surprised any above remain. Impossibly large mushrooms replace the vibrant flowers and overgrowth of the Seelie forest, and the eerie silence is only occasionally interrupted by a gust of wind. I shiver in the saddle as chilly air and a steady drizzle of rain quickly permeates through my clothes. Where am I? Yeah, mushroom. I look behind me for any signs of the void, the cottage, or the bright morning sunlight I left behind. But all I find is more of this damp air and darkness. I scan the forest floor for any tracks that might guide me, but the horse I was chasing seems to have simply vanished into thin air. Where could it have even gone? I search the canopy, but only find a few crows watching me from above. My mind swirls with confusion as I clench Darby's reins and turn her around in hopeless circles, as though that would somehow take me back to where I was. Ugh, what was I thinking? I'm even more lost than I was before. I groan and throw my hands up in frustration, causing Darby to huff nervously and shift underneath me. Oh, sorry, Darby. I stroke her neck until she relaxes again. At least this time I'm not lost and alone. But what should I do? Just pick a direction and hope for the best? I have no idea where I am, much less how far I am from that lake now. Not to mention, given the sudden shift in the seasons, I can't help but fear the worst. That somehow, after running through that void, more time has passed than I can afford. I throw up my hands in exasperation sometimes, saying, whoa, where do I go? Wait a second. The map from Shay's outpost. I rack my brain for as many details as I can remember. That city, Tamar, was in Thalius, right? Right. I pause, a realization coming to me. I remember the map called Thalius the province of spring. At first I thought it was just a figure of speech, but maybe it wasn't. Could each province be stuck in a season? That would explain all these changes. I keep going down this line of thinking. Since this place is autumn, it must be Murius, I think? Can't say for sure, but knowing I haven't somehow jumped forward in time makes me feel a little better about all of this. If only I had that map with me, then maybe I could find my way to the border. It seems I don't have a choice here. If I don't get going somewhere or another, then I'm just gonna sit here and shiver. Resigning myself to aimless wandering, Darby and I set off in search of any signs of civilization. As we approach a dirt road deeper into the forest, more crows begin to fly in and perch in the canopy. The more the merrier, I suppose. But in the silence of the forest, the growing audience of the canopy is a little creepy. It really does feel like I'm being watched, and the increasing darkness of my surroundings doesn't really help much either. Like a visit to a shady butcher shop, I was fearing the worst. An unsettling cacophony of crowing. Okay, actually, maybe it is very creepy. I urge Darby into a canter as we hurry down the path, hoping to escape the uncanny atmosphere. Suppose she's coming for us still? Shut up, would ya? If she is, then she'll be following the sound of your yellow bellying. I gently pull back on Darby's reins as I hear a group of voices up ahead. For a moment, I breathe a sigh of relief. That didn't take long at all. Maybe my luck is finally starting to turn around. Psh, let her come then. I'll give her a right proper wallop. You'll give her a... Are you mad? She's the bleeding For the love of Ignis, stop your jaw and help me move this cart. And you, if you don't stop drinking all our wares, your piss-soaked trousers are going to be in the ditch. Unless you fancy walking back to Gory's bare-assed in the snow. Bah, piss off. Alright, that's enough of that from you. Don't go snatching a man's whiskey before he's finished. Well, there's definitely something off about the trio. One of them's unquestionably drunk. The others seem to be restless and on edge. It may not be a good idea to approach them after all. Still, I don't know when I'll be crossing another person's path. These forests are dense and intimidating and filled with who knows what. Do I really want to risk what might be my one chance of finding a way out of here? I clench my jaw. I don't want to turn back if I don't have to, so I resolve to inch myself a little bit forward and just keep listening in on their conversation for now. If they seem like trouble, then I'll turn heel and be on my way. At least they don't seem to be going anywhere fast from what I can tell, squinting through the trees. Bollocks. How's anyone supposed to move these godforsaken woods when it's always raining and making a mess of the roads? Huh, missing home? Gods no, do I look like I enjoy freezing my tits off? What tits? Damn. You know, one of these days I'm gonna cut that tongue from your gobshite mouth. Ease up. If we're caught like this, we're all getting worse. Gah, if I thought you were gonna be such a lily-livered little coward about all this. Gah, good sense ain't cowardice. I didn't think we were gonna snatch this from the main supply line and right under the nose of... Where else would you, idiot? Further up north you go, the less anything grows. All I'm saying is we were doing just fine. You call holding up poor bastards on the roadside fine? It wasn't much, but we made do. We should just grab what we can and get on moving. This is a right wash and you know it. Don't be stupid. Do you know how much grain's in there? We live in fat and happy like old King Onrai for a year easy. Not if we don't make it back. Then move your hide and push. This bloody cart ain't going nowhere without more hands. You know, you're right. Oi, where that drunken languor toddle off to? Burbie. The suddenness of yet another crow up above nearly startles me out of my skin. I huff, glaring at the little menace as it swoops down. Oh shit, we've been busted, ain't we? And forces me to lock eyes with the drunkard peering at me through the foliage. Caught off guard, I momentarily hesitate, and that unfortunately gives the drunkard enough time to lunge at me, even as I kick Darby into motion. Ugh! With one swift motion, the hefty brute grabs a fistful of my clothes and yanks me off Darby's saddle. I land with a thud to the muddy forest floor, watching helplessly as Darby spurs down the path. God damn it, Darby! God, we just got her back, dude! Not so fast. The drunkard whistles to the other bandits before dragging me to my feet and shoving me forward. I struggle against his grip, hoping to at least throw him off balance, but that's useless. He's short and stout, but sturdy as a brick house, even sloshed. Up ahead, I finally see the scene that's been mostly hidden from me up till now. The bandits have been struggling to dislodge a horse-drawn carriage from the muddy rut. It's so well and stuck that the cart looks close to tipping over. I can't see past the sheet covering the cart's contents, but if it's all grain, then there's no way their poor horse will be able to pull all that for long. At least, not by itself. As the drunkard and I meander into view, the other two bandits block Darby's path and calm her down enough to grab hold of her reins. My stomach sinks. This is not good. Not good at all. How about that, huh? That old Bagdanu's smiling down on us after all. Bates brought us a horse and a fancy bastard to boot. Very fancy. Who are they supposed to be anyhow? And what's with that? What's with the ears? They're calling out the fact I have normal-ass ears. I fail to find a proper question or answer to any of these questions as I feel my mouth go dry. My eyes dart between the bandits, or more more pertinently, the weapons at their side. Eventually, I managed to sput out a pitiful little plea. Please, I don't have anything of value. No, don't look it to me. The drunkard clapped me on the back, sending me stumbling right into the middle of all 3 bandits. I'm surrounded. It's true, though. Check me. Check my horse. I was already robbed of everything. The bandit woman snorts as I say this, giving me a disdainful once-over. You know, lads, I don't doubt it. The other bandits guffaw, and a look of understanding seems to cross all their faces. I swallow hard. How am I going to get out of this? Look, I don't want any trouble with you folks. Honest, I was just passing through. Shut it. The bandit woman stalks toward me, her hand reaching towards her waist. I'll be square with you. We're in a bit of a rush here, so I don't care much to deal with you any longer than I need to. So here's how this is gonna work. We're taking the horse. You're outnumbered, defenseless, and by the looks of it, haven't been in a real scrap in your life. So unless you'd like me to paint the roadside with your entrails, best to move along now. I can't let them take Darby. I'm not losing the old girl again. Make a break for it. I step back with my hands raised, giving the bandit woman a brief nod before casting my gaze downward. I attempt to look dejected as I can while I walk a ways off, before making a break towards Darby. I've tossed myself on her plenty of times, and she's so close if I can just get... Ah! I tumble onto my knees after having my legs kicked out from under me. It takes me a moment to realize that the bandit woman just up and tackled me. An even longer moment passes before I notice the sharp object digging in between my shoulder blades. Wrong way. Shite. I find myself completely frozen. Is this it? Is this how I meet my end? I suck in a breath through my teeth, awaiting the inevitable with my eyes squinted shut. Hi! Hi, beautiful lady, hello! My eyes flash open again. I flip over and scramble back onto my feet, realizing the bandit had been wrenched off of me. Out of nowhere, a mysterious woman stands between me and my assailer. Her bronze sword glints in the evening light as she raises it to parry the bandit woman's dagger before kicking her square in the chest and knocking her onto the ground, breathless. Let's go! Fuck them up! They stole my horse! Get him! Get him! Get him! Without sparing me a glance, the warrior woman lunges towards the other bandits. The nervous man fumbles as he retrieves his sword, and the drunkard is unable to keep up with the warrior's unending onslaught through his inebriation. All I can do is watch my savior with awe as she dodges one man's sloppy swing before... Oops. Wait, hold on. Let me go back. We're blocking the other sword just as it comes at her. There we go. Yeah, woman. Yeah, I know. She effortlessly defends against both men, though I suppose one being drunk doesn't hurt. Yeah, she's so pretty, dude. She's so pretty. A movement in my periphery catches my attention in time to see the bandit woman has crawled back to her feet, her dagger once again in hand. The warriors engage with the second man still and will never see her in time. Yeah, she can kick a meat in the ground. Shout! Behind you! I call out to the woman fighting the bandits, but I'm not sure she can hear me over the fight. The bandit woman pauses mid-step when I do, and suddenly remembers that I'm here. She rushes over to me, dagger held at the ready, but before I can even think to run... Huh? What the... Ow! Shite! Get away from me, you stupid bird! Yeah, fuck her up! Fuck her up! Get her ass! Caw, caw! My jaw drops as all the crows in the canopy dive-bomb the bandit woman from above. She drops the knife almost instantly in an effort to swat the birds away, but she just ends up tripping over herself as she flails, panicked. It's a little disturbing, if I'm honest. She bundles up into a ball, hiding her face from the crow's beaks and talons, but they still tear through her back. Once the birds see fit to fly away, I can't help but creep towards her cautiously, despite the fact that she nearly killed me moments before. Is she... Did I... She's a little worse for wear, but alive. The woman is sheathing her sword as she approaches me. The other 2 bandits are both lying unconscious behind her. Hi, Mommy. Thank you for saving me, Mommy.
Thank you for giving me a heads up just then.
Car. Them too. Are you okay? They didn't injure you. I'm sorry I didn't get here faster. Thank you. I'm fine, mostly just a little shaken up. I've never been in a real fight before. And I apologize for dragging you into one.
By the way, I'm Maithe, commander of the Unseelie Sentinels. I've been trailing these bandits for a while now, after they stole some supplies being sent out of province.
Maeve is so pretty. She gestures over towards the covered cart. Pleasure, Maeve. I'm the Seelie Court druid. Mouth agape, I stare at her for a moment. Some part of me had hoped that I might be able to escape this continuous identity crisis, but no such luck. As a Milesian, you're pretty conspicuous if you know what to look for. Not to mention the outfit gives you away. Not every day a member of the Seelie Court gets caught crossing the side of the border. Gets caught? I don't much like the sound of that. So, druid, want to tell me what you're doing here? I shuffle a bit nervously, wondering if my answer could land me in trouble. Still, I don't really know enough about what's going on to lie. Yeah, she's Unseelie. Yeah, she is. It's a very long story. For one, I'm not clear where here is. Maeve observes me for a moment, like she's trying to figure out if I'm being honest or not. Wordlessly, she turns to inspect the cart's contents. You're in the forest just outside Kashlan Nanini. So you can understand why I can't just let you leave. Our enemy's court druid shows up here, just shy of the capital, and is a fairly substantial criminal offense. Trespassing and all that. Criminal? Oh, for fuck's sake. However, since you helped me out here, you can ride alongside me on your horse rather than the back with Listlot. Gesturing over to the groaning bandit, she gives me a genial nudge before procuring some rope from somewhere. Once I load them onto the cart, we're headed straight to the king. On the way, you can give me the highlights of what you're up to. Yeah, sure, why not? I have to say, so far, Maeve has been nicer and more straightforward with me than anyone, despite the fact I've apparently broken the law just by being here. Maybe if I stay on her good side, she'll be convinced I'm not here to cause trouble. If we are going to see the king, I need all the help I can get. As Maeve picks up one end of a bandit, I lift the other, and we heave them each onto the cart before binding them together with a rope. By the time we're done, the fabric against my back is damp and my shoulders are burning. Maeve, however, seems completely unbothered. I have to admit, you've surprised me yet again, druid. So far, you're nothing like what I expected. It's refreshing. I feel a little bashful from the praise. I faintly wonder if buttering me up is some kind of compliance tactic, but if it is, it's working. Thanks. I'll go get Darby hooked up to the cart. Maeve grins, nodding at me as I go. God, she's pretty. Now, question, was that me or was that the character saying that? Before we get going, Maeve gestures for me to follow her to the driver's seat. I nervously follow, but to my surprise, she removes a cloak from the cart and gently wraps it around me before tying it together. Seelie clothes aren't exactly made to withstand our climate. Put the hood up as well to hide your ears. My body relaxes into the warmth of the cloak, as though it was just now remembering how cold it was before. I guess my adrenaline rush back there helped, too. It takes a few minutes for Maeve and I to unwedge the cart from the rut, but with 2 horses at the front and us pushing at the rear, we get it done. Though, if I'm being honest, Maeve did most of the heavy lifting. Finally, we set out on the road, side by side, in the front of the cart. Well, all we have now is time. Let's hear it. Right, well, I very cautiously explain and try to keep the details as sparse as possible, just in case. I was just at my cottage when I saw something take off into the woods with my saddlebag. I had some important things in there, so I gave chase on Darby here, but then I fell into this I don't know what to call it, void, I guess? A great big white light. Anyway, I fumbled in and it spat me out here. Don't know how. I've never seen anything like it. I was looking for directions when I ran into the bandits, and then you. Despite my clumsy description, Maeve seems to be following the narrative better than me. Once I finish, I wait for her verdict. Did you see what the thief looked like? I hesitate. This may be Tirna Nog, but I don't exactly know how common literal horse thieves are, or whatever that thing was. It had purplish hair? Well, it was better than nothing. Unbelievable. Damn it. Of all the times, I'm gonna make sure this time he doesn't get away with it. Pardon? Sorry, I just have a recurring pain in the arse to address. The good news for you is I know who has your stuff. In fact, I think you do too. I sit up a little straighter. I do? Maeve heaves a long sigh and then looks at me wearily. Well, we'll soon find out. It's only a suspicion for now. My stomach turns as I think about the possibility of interacting with yet another acquaintance of Daoine, but I feel a minor sense of relief as well. It's not much, but it's a lead. I don't have to fight a dragon for it or anything, do I? Why would you have to do something like that? Sorry, it's been a weird day. Or possibly longer. I can't really tell. So, who is it, and where can I find him? We're already headed there. Don't you worry. We still have a little ways to go, though, so make yourself comfortable. I nod, settling back into my seat. Alright, quietly riding towards yet another menacing capital city is going to kill me. Maeve's been friendly enough with me so far, so I might as well make conversation. Once I can think of a topic, anyway. What's with the birds? Is this a normal day for you? Yeah. So, is this a normal day for you? Chasing criminals through the woods and getting into life or death fights? Pretty much. That fight didn't look very life or death for you. Yeah, good night, J-Bomb. Sweet dreams. I hope you sleep well. True. But it might have been for the village this cart was headed to. Our lands aren't as fertile as the Seelies, so Glorious relies on a lot of imports from what farmland we have here in Murius. It's not unusual for brigands to target the northern supply lines, though. They'll take their portion and market the rest of it out to the very people it was originally going towards. Jack up the prices, and you got yourself a good little scheme.
A lucrative one, I should say. One that preys on the desperation of the powerless. There's no price a mother wouldn't pay to keep her babes from starving, as they say.
You're so right. You should keep talking. Of course, the gang's never really taken the mother starving into account. Yeah, night, J-Bomb. Oi! We're not in a bloody gang. Don't you go adding that to what are our fines. Maeve turns her head back slightly to glare at the bandit woman. She holds Maeve's steely expression for far longer than I would have, but eventually breaks. Maeve turns around again. No, you're not. You're petty thieves in the full extent of the word petty, and didn't care one lick who might have starved if you gotten away with this. So spare me the indignation. The state of your honor is not a matter of debate. With that, we all fall into an uncomfortable silence and remain that way until we reach the city. As Maeve and I approach the end of the autumn forest, we come to a cliffside with an imposing castle on its precipice and a storming lake to its back. Here we are. That's the capital? It's no Tamar, but yes. The stronghold itself is home to about 200 people, with more folk in the surrounding villages. It's not the biggest castle the Unseelie took, but it was the last and hardest fought. King Lugaid felt it was necessary to make this place, the last city before spring, our capital. He was the sort of person who takes symbolic gestures very seriously. Anyway, let's keep going. The castle town is much different than Tamar. The city feels slower, a bit emptier. I don't know what I expected. but it wasn't this. I guess I figured the king would be as ostentatious as Ivy. The buildings haven't been maintained very well either. Some of the shopkeepers are patching up walls rather than attending to their empty counters. In some senses, it reminds me more of home, but that's surprising in its own way. I must be wearing quite the expression because Maeve starts explaining.
It doesn't look like much now, but it's a sight better than it was when we first started rebuilding. The war took a great toll on Morius. Boreas too, of course. But the fighting and the destruction was always more intense in these parts.
I gotta finish my coffee. It's so cold. Between the Seelie's trade embargo, keeping the gangs under control, and restructuring how everyone gets fed, well, we just haven't had the time or resources to mend every roof. The king hasn't been on the throne long either, but he has good plans in mind. We don't have much, but we're doing what we can, and it helps to know we're in this together. We're all in this together. With time and cooperation, we might even be able to make this place better than before. There's a twinkle in her eye as she casually looks over to me as she suggests it. Does she mean me? Or, well, Daoine? Is that why she's being so genial? Am I being recruited? I find myself fidgeting with the cloak Maeve gave me. Is a druid that influential? I can't help but think back to what Ivy told me. Druids have always been invaluable consultants to the kings and queens of the Tua de Danan. Tua de Danan. But shouldn't that mean that the king has a druid in his own court too? If I ask, would that be considered rude? I'll ask. Why not? Maeve, can I ask a question about the Unseelie Court? Of course, as long as it ain't state secrets. She gives me a wink, and I feel a little less anxious about asking. Does your court have a druid? I just meant I haven't heard. Used to. None at the moment, though. It's an important position. We need time to assess an appropriate candidate. I can only imagine. That's understandable. I hope you get one soon. The Irish make me happy. I have a thing for Irish for such a silly reason. It's fun. That's what I love folklore and like mythology and stuff like that. And Irish folklore and mythology is always so fucking cool, dude. It's always so cool. How congenial you are. As we continue through the city, I notice that most of the townsfolk who spot Maeve come up to greet us. Oh, Maeve, won't you come by first sometime for a cup? Thank you. I'll come by sometime. Maeve, thanks for getting my lyre back. Next song's dedicated to you. If that's true, Seelie, it better not be another one about tavern girls. Aye, Maeve, I got something set aside for you now. Maeve pauses at the vendor's call. What do you say? Want to take a little detour with me? Hell yeah. I'm in no rush for another royal confrontation. Not to mention, Maeve isn't the worst company I've had so far. Excellent. We lead the cart over to the vendor, who calls out to us as he pulls out a small brown bottle that's been sealed with red wax. Not too much trouble getting it? She handles the bottle gently, tucking it into her saddlebag with care before fishing out a few odd-looking coins. If they can even be called coins, they look more like rings. These days, what isn't too much trouble? But for you, it was nothing. I got my hyperfixation on the Irish because an OC of mine in an RP server got an Irish boyfriend. Oh my god. You're too kind. As we turn to leave, the man catches Maeve's attention once more. By the way, I meant to tell ya, that old bandit gang, Nua Fianna, is back around causing trouble. Nua Fianna.
Nua Fianna.
Fianna. Fianna.
Nua Fianna.
Fianna. Yeah, Nua Fianna is back around causing trouble. Thought you'd want to take care of it before the king does. I'll see what I can do. We head back towards the castle, but the atmosphere has changed. Maeve seems distracted by what the vendor said. Maeve? Sorry, just got a lot lost in thought. About the group the vendor mentioned, who are they? It's a bit complicated. Some folk will tell you they're just another group of bandits. But, well, they don't see themselves that way. And I don't think it's completely fair to say they're just another gang, but maybe that's my bias talking. I used to be one of them before I ended up where I am now. What? Really? Oh my god. So she was an ex-bad girl and now she's doing the right thing. She's joined the good side. She's become a proper guard.
It was a long time ago. They gave me a home when I had nowhere else to go and saw themselves as vigilantes, bringers of justice. They're not all bad, but not all good either. I left because I realized we weren't fixing anything. Not really.
I want to help them help themselves, I suppose. I don't know if I'll ever be able to reach them, but I want to try. But enough about me. I have supplies and a very companionable druid to deliver. Come now, we should head to the stables and then into the keep. Yeah, I know, I love her accent, man. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Not a problem. If I've learned anything so far, it's to try and avoid attention. Maeve takes me over to the stables, where she assures me that Darby will be well taken care of. Trust me, these horses eat better than we do. While I get Darby's stall set up, Maeve takes the cart and bandits to a small group of guards, where she starts giving them instructions. I'm filling the water trough when she returns.
Hey, I just want you to know I think you're telling the truth. I hope that makes you feel a little better about all this.
It does, but my stomach is too queasy to answer with more than a nod and a weak smile. Once we reach the enormous wooden doors of the keep, Maeve gives me one last comforting smile and places a hand gently on my shoulder. You'll be fine. Probably. Time to save. The Horned Devil. As Maeve heaves open the heavy wooden doors, a wave of heat falls over me. The warmth eases the bitter autumn wind from my weary bones, but just as soon as I begin to feel myself relaxing, something else strikes my senses. The rich, all-encompassing smell of a freshly cooked feast. Damn, they are really trying to tempt us with this fairy food, man. I'm telling you. I'm like sliding down my chair. It's so creaky. There we go. I blink, taking in the strange scene before me. What kind of throne room is this? It's nothing like the Seelies. In fact, if not for the literal throne at the far back, I wouldn't have realized this was a throne room at all. If anything, it's more like a public dining hall. Majority of the room is consumed by massive wood tables covered end to end with all sorts of food and drink. I feel my mouth water enviously as I watch the crowd of common folk mingle and treat themselves to the fresh loaves of bread, steaming hot meats, fruits and vegetables, cakes and cheeses, mead and whiskey. Oh my god, dude, I would kill for some mead right now. Oh my god. I had this like raspberry mead before. Oh, it was so fucking good. It was so good. I love mead. Like legit one of my favorite alcohols. My stomach twists painfully, audibly. Go ahead. Huh?
You're hungry. Eat something. We'll be waiting a while still.
I can't eat anything, Maeve. I want to be able to leave this realm. The dog does feeds us all. No, that's all right. I'm fine. Of course, that was just about the biggest, fattest lie I've ever spoken all my life, but I just couldn't. Even now, I still had to hold out hope. Suit yourself. With that, Maeve steers us away from the tables and off to the side, right around the center of the room. The silence is awkward, so I break it. Ask about Dagda's Feast. So, why is it called the Dagda's Feast? You know about the 4 treasures, don't you? Just, refresh my memory. I totally know what that is, but, just to really just hone it in. And before the food isn't actually magical. That would be the most harsh fucking plot twist of all. Is like you could have actually eaten this whole time.
I see.
I understand. I tuned out a lot of the druids' historical lessons as well. I'm back. Welcome back, Leonix. I raised my eyebrow. Maeve was taught by the druids? Interesting. How goes the game? Look at this beautiful woman. Look at her. She's so pretty. A long time ago, this place, Tirnanog, was a series of islands named Phalius, Gorius, Phineas, and Murius, which now makes up our provinces. As far as we know, all the islands sort of melded together after our ancestors left Innisfail. Anyway, before they left, 4 treasures were taken from each island. The first treasure was the Leofail. It used to cry out for the next High King if a line of succession ever ended in the old world, but the stone was broken by Cuchulainn thousands of years ago. Cuchulainn. Yeah, I'm learning how to pronounce everything. Cuchulainn, thousands of years ago. Efforts were made by the druids to recover the pieces, of course, but it's never... Well, never mind. The next treasures were... Clee of Solace, Sword of Light, and Gaeasol. Gaeasol. The legendary weapons of Nuada and Luth. Yeah, so the Sword of Light and the Spear of Ossel. For a long time, those treasures were thought to be lost. But when Finn and Lugid rose up in defiance of King Onrai, the rebels were gifted both sword and spear as godly blessings for the Unseelie cause. Phineas and Furbius. Yeah. As for the final treasure, you're standing in it. I look around perplexedly for a moment. What do you mean? This room is the Cauldron of Plenty, or what's left of it. The Dagda was said to have ascended to Magmel after his time, so imagine our surprise when we find his cauldron overturned here, abandoned in the countryside. Most believe it was left as a gift. Or maybe he just dropped it? Either way, the stronghold was built up around it, and now this room holds host to an eternal feast. No matter how much you eat around, it will always be replenished, and so the throne room is kept open for everyone. Food can be hard to come by, especially the farther north you go. There used to be some trade with Phalius for that reason, but after the war, well, the king's of a mind that you've come all this way, you best be able to leave with your belly full. Are you sure you won't eat? No, Mori, are you giving my friend over there a hard time? Abruptly cut off, Maeve and I both look up in the direction of the die, where someone distinctively not kingly sits on the throne. Robin, get down from there. Look at this little shit. Look at this little shit. Oh, they have massive little shit energy, dude. So hold on, let me blow out my candle. It's been burning long enough. There we go. It's a lovely scent. It smells so good. But you can't leave it burning too long. But this Robin person ignores Maeve entirely, choosing to instead set their gaze squarely on me.
Did you go breaking the court's treaty of mutual surrender just to see little old me? You shouldn't have. Really? You shouldn't have.
Said you who stole my shit. Oh hey, catch. Robin practically jolts out the throne, reeling back their arms and giving it a good swing forward. Before I quite realize it, a vaguely brownish-looking blob is hurtling its way across the room, right towards my face. All I can do is flinch and fling my arms up over my head, but the collision never comes. When I dare to open my eyes, I see Maeve glowering furiously at Robin, her hand outstretched in front of me and clenching onto my saddlebag? This yours, is it? Gawking, I reach out and grab it from her. Sure enough, as I tear through the contents of the bag, all my things are still in it. I stand there, baffled. How did I what? I I startle as Robin is suddenly standing right in front of me, grinning ear to ear. You little shit, you little shit. Hastily swinging the bag out of Claw's reach, I stand up and straight and jab my finger into their chest. How did you end up with my saddlebag? Was that your horse? You could say that. I feel my face heating up the more I look at that smug devil-may-care face. Why did you steal my saddlebag?
Steal? Me? Why, I never.
Oh, yeah, sure. I was holding on to it for you, Dee. You just left it lying around. Thank you for the hydrate. Yes, I need to finish my coffee. They are the horse, aren't they? 1000%. They have the same hair color and the same markings on the cheek as the horse did, and the same eye color. So I would imagine they probably shapeshifted into the horse. It was on my horse. I know. That's enough to make a poor kid jealous.
Robin, stop this. You're not a child.
Sure I am. Look at me. A true kid at heart.
So, am I to assume that the druid's account is true? They followed you through a ley line after you made off with their things for some inexplicable reason? Lies, you fiend. I know, dude. Seems plausible. Alright, well, that's one problem sorted at least. Now we know for certain it was an accident. That should help when I explain this mess to the king. What? Oh, you don't really have to drag him into all... With all that's happened, recently, he might not take too kindly to... Of course I have to tell him. This is a matter of security. But I could just pop them back over right now, and no one's the wiser. Except me, you, the druid, anyone they may tell. Psha, you can keep a secret, can't you, Dee? Robin. May, we know each other's names. I thought I already passed my Irish courses. Welcome in, gang. This is serious. Accident or not, you forced us into a sensitive diplomatic situation. Oh, I got it. Big Man said he wanted eyes on the inside, didn't he? Well, here you go. Eyes on the inside, trustworthiness certified. We can just tell him that and ignore the other bits. What? No, I'm not going to lie to the king. It's not a lie, just a little bit of bullshit. And we do a little bit of bullshitting from time to time, don't we, Maeve? Do you remember you're Irish? I never really learned it personally. But I'm learning now through the game, because they tell you how to pronounce everything, which is very nice. It's very appreciated. But welcome in, Barb. After all, this isn't exactly the first time. Hold your tongue. Smiling, Robin proceeds to stick out their tongue and hold it, physically. You stay here with the druid. I'm going to find the king and request a private audience with all three of us, and we're going to be forthright with him. But in the meanwhile, keep a low profile for once, would you? As Maeve begins to walk away, Robin swerves around and grabs me by the shoulders. You help me out. Do not. I blink. And why the hell would I do that? You robbed me. We are not here to get ahead, are we? Robin lets her arms fall to the side as she sighs loudly. Oh, I don't know, maybe because both our hides are on the line? I cross my arms and step away from Robin. Even if that's true, I trust Maeve a great deal more than I trust you. So whatever it is you're scheming, I'll have no part in it. What? Me? Little old me scheming? Why, I'd never... I glare at them. Ugh, okay, you win.
But could you at least
how teensy tiny are we talking? The teensiest. I just need you to hold something for a bit. I heave a labored sigh. No. Nah. Now you're probably gonna give me something you fucking stole from the king. No, absolutely not. Bah, you're not much fun, are you? Oh well. Without another word, Robin saunters over to the dining table and picks up a loaf of bread and an entire boat of gravy, only to then immediately nudge a fellow to their left and hand the latter off to them, gesturing towards the end of the table. I don't like the look of this. But before I can even think to intervene on whatever this is, the hapless accomplice has already shrugged and started making their way down the room, all shouting all the while. Did a Nyanaeve ask for some gravy over here? Oh my god, this is like a Henry Butts, a Harry Butts. Did a Harry Butts ask for this? This is like the Irish equivalent of that, isn't it? Robin smiles mischievously, watching and waiting. Suddenly he looks back over at me, giving a brief once-over before tearing off a strip of bread. Want some? I narrow my eyes and shake my head. Suit yourself. Robin then pops the torn piece into her mouth and chucks the rest of the bread clean across the room with the same speed and precision she threw my saddlebag earlier. Only this time, the poor lad with the gravy boat didn't have a strong lady friend to stop him from getting smacked upside the head, nor from tripping over and dumping the contents of the gravy boat. Splat. Right onto Maeve, just as she was about to leave the throne room. No, not to Maeve! Oh gods, I'm so sorry. Oh, go through that. My mouth hangs wide open, as does everyone else in the room, except for Robin, who immediately leaps back over to me. Oh my! What a terrible turn of events. Poor Maeve's gonna have to find a change of clothes. Despite Robin's joviality, it does nothing to penetrate the fraught tension that now proliferates the room. Everyone has stopped eating, stopped talking. There is not a sound to be heard other than the faint drip, drip, drip of gravy onto the stonework floors. Maeve, meanwhile, has yet to say anything at all, nor even move from her spot by the door. Her back is completely turned to us, rendering it impossible to see her face or read her expression. The silence is unnerving, even to Robin, who exhales a wry chuckle. So...
there, maybe?
Oh, Lord Almighty. I couldn't have said it worse myself. Everyone who is not named Robin Goodfellow, kindly stand aside. With militant obedience, everyone standing between Maeve and Robin steps out the way, leaving a clear pathway for Maeve to march down. Which she does, quickly and with direct focus. Someone's looking a little mad, huh? Come on, I'm sure they didn't mean to. Maeve, still face, drops a hand onto Robin's shoulder.
Robin,
Uh-oh.
Yes?
goat is back on the menu.
Oh shit. She didn't stand a chance. Within seconds, Mavis effortlessly hoisted Robin up over her head and then tossed him into a clean line down the table, hitting every item along the way. Impressively, it takes a solid 30 seconds for Robin to come to a skidding halt, now totally slathered from head to hoof in cake, tomato mashed potato, and so on. They groan as they hobble in an upright position, wiping the slurry of food from their face. Welp, can't say I was expecting that. Good. Learned your lesson then? Nope. I fucking knew they were gonna say that shit. Suddenly, Robin springs to her feet, standing high atop the table with an entire tray of disparate food items, which she begins to pelt out wildly and with reckless abandon, having no care for anyone she may hit in the process.
No, only escalation.
What a little shit, dude. Bollocks. Maeve, sensing her waning choice in the matter, attempts to rush Robin and get them to stop, but by now it's too late. Maeve may be strong, but Robin is quick. The game is on, and clearly Robin intends to win. Oh my god, you can see like the little bits of food flying everywhere. They skip down the table, tossing food everywhere, including back at Maeve herself. A few bystanders attempt to slow Robin down by slinging food back at them, but not all meet their mark, which then inevitably results in a few cases of mistaken intent. And with it, retaliation. Soon enough, with the feast itself half trashed and intoxication already running rampant through the crowd, others begin to participate in the mayhem in earnest. Maeve briefly tries to yell some sense into people, but she goes unheard in and amongst the pandemonium. Nothing is able to escape the pure, unadulterated chaos of culinary warfare, as walls, floors, and people between them get thoroughly smeared and soiled. It's nothing short of a miracle that I haven't been caught in the fray yet myself, but I know it's only a matter of time for me, so... hide. I duck and cover underneath the dining table, obviously. I'm not getting these fancy Seelie clothes dirty. Didn't I already fall in the mud? Aren't they already dirty? The battle rages on for a while, though I have no way of knowing what's happening out there beyond what I can see through the flurry of legs and here above me. Though from what I can tell, Robin has remained for the most part on top of the table, zipping up and down, stirring up the chaos further, as Maeve continues to shout at them to stand down. Suddenly, though, even as it seems the madness will never end... Oh shit, the king has entered.
Are you all doing?
The king has entered. Right during the food fight, too. All the joviality that was once present in the Unseelie throne room abruptly dies. No one speaks, no one whispers, no one dares even to move. I strain my head from under the table, trying to catch a glimpse at the person whose mere presence managed to cut through Robin's calculated chaos in one fell swoop. It's no use, though. Between the throng of people, I can't see anything at all. But I can still hear.
So is this what is to become of my father's court? The Dagda's feast, put to waste and desecrated. Chaos and tomfoolery at the very seat of our hard-fought throne.
My king.
Permit me to explain. It is plain enough.
I'm sorry, my king. Things got out of hand.
There's a long, palpable silence. I hold my breath, waiting in anticipation for what the king does next.
All guests are to leave the premises effective immediately. Inform those still yet waiting to join in on the Dagda's feast that it will recommence tomorrow. And know that tonight's hunger was brought about by your actions here.
Ooh, making them pay for wasting food. Now go. I hear murmurs and the swift shuffling of feet from all sides around me. Thinking fast, I try to duck out from under the table and sneak outside with the crowd, but I can't. My cloak strains on my neck. Looking back, I see that I got snagged in a groove on the table legs. By the time I manage to unhook myself, there aren't enough people close by to hide me. I'd be spotted leaving for sure. Eventually, I hear the doors close again, so I shuffle to the middle of the table to avoid being seen. The room descends into silence. Spare for the heavy and rapidly succeeding footsteps of, presumably, the king against the stone floor. Slow down there, buddy. There's no need to...
Robin.
Isn't there, good fellow? Unable to help myself, I press myself low and peek around the table's legs, trying to observe what's going on. She even got a little bit of a titty window, too. Look at him go. Oh my god, we have matching earrings! We have matching earrings! Oh my god, twinsies? I can't see much, but I do see the king, tall, fiery-haired, and scowling. And I see Robin, hooves dangling midair as the king hoists him up by the scruff of his neck. It doesn't seem to be hurting him, though, at least no more than a mother cat hurts her kittens. I know, he's hot, yeah. Yeah, he is. Because I can think of no one more fragrantly disrespectful as to instigate. Flannan, put them down. But he started it? Yes, but I also accelerated the matter to an extent. Are you gonna wring me out by the neck? Is it true? Robin proceeds to nod his head vigorously. We're all blasphemers. Oh my god. The king abruptly drops Robin, who lands with an ungraceful clatter to the ground.
You dropped me on a fork? That's fucking smart.
If only any part of you was smart, damn. In any case, I suppose both of you will have the profound displeasure of picking up every breadcrumb in this room tonight. I'll not have the servants waste their labor on such nonsense. So hi, Berserk. Welcome in. Understood. Robin, despite their whining, springs up from the ground with surprising elasticity, but still makes a show of rubbing their youchie. Sure thing, Chief. Good. Now then, perhaps one of you can tell me who that might be under the table? My eyes widen as I scramble away from my peeping spot, as though this would turn me invisible again. Just how long had he noticed that I was here? Strangely, though, I don't hear the conversation continue. Squinting, I crane my head slightly to the side, but all I hear are some whisperings, and then... Oh shit! He's right there! Hi! I flinch and scurry myself slightly backward, now face to face with the king, who just seemingly lifted the entire table up with one hand, effortlessly. That's hot. That's hot. I'm not gonna lie, that's really fucking hot. The king stares me down, his face inscrutable. Then wordlessly, he thrusts his free hand out to me, his palm turned upward. Oh my god, he's helping me up! Oh my god! Take it. I glance between the king's face and his hand. Gingerly, I reach out and take it. His hand is firm and callous, not to mention significantly larger than mine. Still, his hold is not aggressive, as he only uses enough force to help me out from under the table. I know, and he helped us up. What a gentleman. Soon enough, I'm back on my feet again, and caught between the three collective stares of Daoine Maithe and the king of the Unseelie Court. I fidget in my spot, waiting anxiously for someone to say something, do something, for anything to happen, really. Still, I don't speak up first. I don't believe that belongs to you. I raise my head, furrowing my brow slightly at the king. Sorry? Without further elaboration, the king simply lifts his hand to me and hooks his finger beneath the clasp of Maeve's coat.
Remove it.
Oh my god, you want me to strip in front of you? Brother, we just met. Oh my god. The king's hand falls away from me. Instinctively, I look towards Maeve and Robin, but their faces tell me nothing. It seems between the three of us, all we can collectively feel is worry. Oh my god. We just meet and he's already telling me to strip. Sheesh. With a sigh and not much else to do, I hesitantly remove the cloak, prompting the king to stand up straighter, with a hard expression on his face. I see. Another present from the Seelie Court. The king cranes his head to the side, glaring at Robin. What? What? Why do you always assume it's my fault? It is. It is your fault. It always is. But it's not this time. Not really. They just fell through one of the ley lines before it closed behind me. I didn't mean. How curious. Then I gather the assured security of your method of travel was an outright lie, then? Who else might you have accidentally let in, I wonder? The king's words cause everyone else to fall silent for a moment, a grave tension in the air. Flan, let's not jump to conclusions. Yeah, and besides, it only happened because they were chasing me. Chasing you? Why? The king glances down my way, anticipating an answer. He stole my things.
Uh-oh.
Well, more like borrowed without permission.
Robin.
Yes, sir? Never speak again. Okay. The scowl on the king's face deepens. He brings his hand to his face and pinches the bridge of his nose. Well then, this is a profoundly idiotic state of affairs. You two, I want this place spotless by tomorrow. Of course. Yep, you can count on us. And you. The king turns to face me abruptly. You come with me. Okay. On my way. The growl when he said Robin. I wish he'd call my... Yeah. Yeah. With that, the king briskly walks past me and over to the doors. I feel my heart beating in my ears and my fears, unbidden, falling from my mouth. What are you gonna do with me? The king stops at his tracks, peering over his shoulder. Violating the court's treaty of mutual surrender is a grave offense, Druid. What is to be done remains to be seen. One last time, I look at Maeve and Robin. Maeve smiles at me softly, nodding her head. And Robin, of course, winks. I sigh, breathing deep, and follow after the king. He's probably not going to kill me. He knows it's an accident. He knows I wasn't intending to do that, you know? The Unseelie King and I traverse through the castle halls without a single word passing between us. His stride is swift, but he does not attempt to overpower me, and in fact glances over his shoulder from time to time to make sure I'm keeping up. But my stomach twists and turns the longer we walk. Where is he taking me? And for what purpose? Robin and Maeve seem to be confident enough that the king is reasonable and that he won't take drastic action. But is that true? So far, he seems temperamental and austere, even self-righteous. And what's worse, he has a good reason to distrust me. My unintended transgression aside, he thinks, like everyone else does, that I'm a member of the Seelie Court, an important member at that. Right now, for all intents and purposes, he and I are enemies. Enemies to lovers slow burn? Please, please? We're here. I start a little as the king's sudden announcement pulls me out of my musings. Where's here? Looking around, we don't seem to be anywhere in particular. Just standing in front of an inconspicuous door somewhere fairly out the way on the other side of the castle. My bedchamber. Oh my god. You're so bold. First you make me strip in front of you in front of the hallway, now you're taking me to your bedchambers, bro? I'm fine with it. Alright, let's go in. Now that I've composed myself, we'll go in. That's fine. I'm ready. I just had to mentally prepare myself for a moment. I raise my eyebrow, but have no time to respond. The king immediately turns the door handle, opening it wide, and... Puppies! Oof. Unable to stop what's about to happen, I find myself being tackled to the ground by 3 large dogs, all bounding out past the king in quick succession. There's nothing I can do but lie there, flat and helpless, as I'm mercilessly stepped on, nuzzled, and licked. Connery, Connell, Cohen, stop that. Is that how you say it?
Connery, Connell, Kuan.
I was pretty close. I'm pretty proud of that. I was pretty close pronouncing that last one. It's Kuan. Kuan. Despite the king's commands, there seems to be seemingly no end to the onslaught. I'm surrounded on all sides, and they're much too big for me to shove aside or squirm away from in a hurry. Eventually, the king is forced to come to my direct aid, kneeling down and pushing past the dogs or to grab hold of my arm and pull me up. Get a hold of yourselves. You know better. Oh, puppy. Sorry about that. They're very excitable. Still regaining my bearings, all I can manage is a breathless nod and a weary smile. So your bedchamber, right? Anyway, come in. The king stands aside from me, and the dogs, who all run back into the room ahead of he and I. After giving the king a brief glance, I turn my head downward again and follow suit. As I step inside, the first thing I notice is that the king's room is remarkably plain. Or, at the very least, unkingly. It's not terribly big or fancy. There's some shelves, a table, a cluttered rug for the dogs, and some chairs with a footstool by the fire, but I could just as well see this room belonging to Maeve, or even an important servant. There's no sense of status, nothing beyond sheer utility. Did the king choose this room? It's odd, in hindsight, that it's so down and out of the way. Stranger still, though, is what's missing from the room entirely. Namely, a bed. Could it be that the other room with the locked door? No, locked is the wrong word for it. The door is bolted shut from the outside with not one but 2 locks and a large plank of wood. I find myself staring at it longer than I should. Take a seat. I whirl back around to the king's gaze, putting the strange door out of my mind. I get the feeling it's the last thing I ought to be asking about the moment, so I simply follow the king's gesture over to the fireside and sit down. Bedchamber, but hold the bed. Damn, we about to fuck on the table then? I mean, that's not gonna be great on my back, but I'll take what I can get at this point. In the meanwhile, the 3 dogs piled down onto the rug and around my feet, all panting and warming themselves by the fire. As for the king, he remains standing, leaning against the table, where he then removes his eye patch, placing it down beside it. Oh my god, now he's stripping. But look at his eye. Oh. I didn't expect him to do that, but I'm surprised by what I see. There's a redness around the eye, perhaps a burn mark? But the eye itself has something strange about it too, though I can't quite put my finger on it.
Think me handsome, do you?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yes. He was like, "Hey, yo, what?" I slapped my hand immediately over my mouth. Christ, why did I say that? Oh, look at his blush. Unfortunate, given the circumstances. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... The king holds up his hand, seemingly just as eager to move on from the subject as I. Tell me what you know of the War of the Courts, a druid of the Seelie Court. I sit up straighter and tilt my head, racking my brain for what to say. Not much. Not much, I'm afraid. All of that was a while before my time. Which, by all accounts, is a true statement. I just got here. Just as well. No doubt whatever you've heard has been colored by the Seelie bias anyway. I'll be as brief as I can. Once, Tir na Nog was a united land, at least in name. The 4 provinces were ruled by the unbroken lineage of Bod Durg, son of Dagda, who was himself of Danu's progeny. He was elected to rule by the kings of the old world, and the blood of the goddess sanctified his reign, as well as his descendants thereafter. Yet despite this honored lineage, Tir na Nog found itself plagued by a fool, King Honorai. He was weak, ignorant, and turned a blind eye to the grotesque greed of the Flatha, and the corruption in his own court as well. Flaha.
Fla.
Fla.
And then the plural. Flaha.
Oh, okay, it's just Fla. Okay. Oh, Flaha. Yeah, because it's plural. It's plural. Okay. Half the land was inundated by abject poverty and squalor. The average... Kayla. The average Kayla. The average freeman could hardly afford to eat, and what remained of their meager earnings were either returned to the Flaha in a tribute or outright stolen. This is to say nothing of the unfree. Oh my god, he's coming out with so many words! He's coming out with so many words we don't know. Buhak. Buhak.
And then the plural. Buhaka.
Buhak, so the laborers and the Shenclea.
Shencleha. And then the plural. Shenclehi.
Isn't that so nice? They have this built in so I know how to pronounce everything. We're often no better off than the... Fura. Furi?
Fur.
Fur?
Fur.
That did not,
And
that,
then the plural. Fur.
did he just say the same thing? Fur. Fur. Okay. And their manner of living. All were subject to grueling, back-breaking labor in the fields and mines. Yeah, all of y'all know Irish, apparently. I missed that class. Y'all are over here learning Irish. I must have fallen asleep. I must have skipped that class or something. I don't know. I wasn't aware that we were all taking Irish. Do not mistake me, though. Our nobility was not a unique evil. Falius and Phineas played no small part in the subjugation of Murius and Gorius as well. After all, the king did nothing to prevent the indefinite inflation of spring and summer's critical exports, such as produce. In that sense, the autumn and winter tyranny must have felt justified in working my people to their brink. But not for their sake, of course. How did you pronounce this again? Flaha? Okay. Flaha only concern themselves with the maintenance of their own wealth. God forbid they ever forego a decadent feast. Regardless.
The most vulnerable people of Tiernan were suffering, living existences of pure misery. Good, honest, hard-working folk would watch their children starve. And yet, not one member of the ruling class did anything to stop it. Much less the king.
But you're the king now. They were only common folk, after all. Their deaths only mattered if it impacted the amount of wealth they cultivated for their superiors. The quality of their lives is not worthy of consideration at all. We were in dire straits, so much so that it came to the point that the gods had no choice but to intervene. This was not the first time that they had faced such vile adversity, but in those days it was the Fomora. It was the Fomoira who kept us bound and repressed. Not our own people. My head spins as I take all of this in, but one question sticks out in my mind. The gods intervened? What do you mean when you say the gods had no choice but to intervene? Surprised you don't know, Druid. The blessings of Danu are many. Chief among them is a long life and godhood, or even rebirth for the most exceptional. High King Lu, for example. He led an extraordinary first life, accomplished great things for Tua de Danan. In turn, he's now regarded as a god, and has lived multiple lives in Inisfail, even after our rule of it. Do you know of the warrior Ku? He was said to be an iteration of Lu. Oh, yeah, I forgot how to pronounce his last name. It was Hulin. Okay. As was my father, Lugad. He, along with the other druid, Finn, were the driving forces behind our rebellion. They embodied the souls of our ancient kings, who likewise fought for the freedom of Tua. The Seelie can sneer and disbelieve all they want, but our cause is righteous, and my father... The king suddenly turns away from me for a moment, so that I cannot see his face.
He was an unparalleled leader, and an inspiration to us all. All that we have today was wrought by his hands.
What happened in the end? Well, I think we know what happened in the end, but... So what happened then, in the end? The king is silent for a moment, and then turns back around to me. We got close. Very, very close. But not close enough. We lost Finn and many more good men in what would be considered our last fight, to capture this very castle. From here, we were meant to push on to Tamer, and I wanted to keep going. We were dealt a blow, but victory was at our fingertips. But the Seelie called for a ceasefire, to negotiate terms. It was a mutual surrender. My father accepted.
We didn't lose.
We didn't lose. We did not lose.
Lose.
Listen to me. We didn't lose, okay? It was a mutual pause. But we didn't win either. No one did. Instead, we're stuck in this godforsaken stalemate. We kept the territories we conquered, but the embargo between the courts is suffocating us far more than it is them. And now... well, never mind. I didn't tell you all this to make you pity us. I squirm awkwardly in my seat. Then why have you? First things first, I won't be sending you to the block, so you don't need to be looking at me so sullenly. But it isn't on Trodoir or Troidoir. Trujor? Whoa. Trujor. Trujor. Isn't on Trujor a good fellow's word, nor is it because I trust you.
It's because, only because, your death benefits the Seelie more than it benefits us.
The fuck? That's so mean. With no disrespect to you or your capabilities, you're an expendable asset to the Seelie. If you die, another druid will take your place. But you are important enough to cause a stir. Treaty or no treaty, they'll call for your execution first blood.
This so-called peace, this pathetic truce, it was never meant to last. It was only ever the Seelie's last-ditch effort to stop the oncoming tide, to give them time to regather their strength.
Hey, you call it. You tell it how it is. But, to their credit, it worked. We're weaker now than we were then, having lost not one of our patriarchs, but two. Finn lost to the war, and now Lugud, murdered. I stare at the king, my mouth agape. Murder? What? It is not common knowledge. Only the closest to my circle know now, and so do you. I'm sorry. I'm in shock. I can't believe what the king is telling me. I'm so sorry, Your Majesty. Sorry? Most Seelie thought of Lugud as a villain, a traitor. Why should you care about his manner of death? Well, I can't know the state of his character either way, but he was still your father, and you, his son. Thank you. But I don't tell you this in hopes of reaching a sympathetic ear. I want you to help me find the bastard who killed him, and if the Seelie are to blame... I nearly choke on the air, all manner of color leaving my face. One of the dogs looks up at me, startled by the sound. Oh my god, Anon, thank you so much for the gift sub to Barb. Thank you, thank you. You what? But Are the court druid to the Seelie Queen? Yes. If this were her plot or the doing of another member, you are close enough to the beast's beating heart to discover its nature. I'm no fool, though. Oh, he's speaking this time.
I don't believe I've swayed your loyalties just by relaying to you this tale. For all I know, the moment I release you, you'll go crawling back to the Queen. Of course, if you do, keep in mind the Seelie will be more inclined to honor the treaty than I, at present. So I'd advise against it.
Besides, I can offer you something the Seelie Queen cannot, or perhaps more accurately, will not. And what's that? Your freedom. Your freedom to leave. Oh my god, Ren! Thank you so much for the gift sub. Thank you, thank you. I don't claim to be privy to the ins and outs of magic or how it works, but I know desperation when I look it in the eye. No Seelie is as skinny as you. You've been starving yourself, trying to open one of the waypoints out of Tir na Nog and Innisfail, haven't you? No, don't even bother responding. I know it's true. I've seen others try during the height of the war and die in the process. You should know that one druid is enough to break through Danu's seal, except for maybe the archdruid. And even then, your window of time is brief. Maybe you do somehow manage the ritual all by yourself. You'd still have maybe a minute or two before the waypoint closes again. You could die or get lost in the void between. Forever.
It isn't a risk worth taking, trust me. Besides, as you know, the Order of the Eternal Flame took no side in the war, and agreed to assist both dominions in druidic and godly affairs. What I'm saying is, I have the power to ask that you be let free, and I will, upon my honor, should you decide to help us. I don't know. I understand that you've had a very long day, so I will give you 3 days of sanctuary to make your choice. Even if you are a spy, you won't find out much in that time. Oh my god, Barb, thank you for the 2 gift subs as well. Oh my god, treasure train? What the fuck is a treasure train? A treasure train just started on your channel. Participants save 35% on 5 or more gift subs at level 2. Hey, yo? Hey, yo? That's kind of sick, actually. I don't know if anybody's gonna do that, but that's cool. That's cool. I didn't know that was a thing. That you can just spawn a discounted train? Yeah, yeah, that's new to me, too. I wonder if it's like a special thing for September, maybe? It's a September event thing? Ah, I gotcha, I gotcha. Yeah, that's neat. That's neato. Well, even if it doesn't happen, it's still cool that it happened. That we spawned it. Oh my god. Right as soon as I saw that, Vivi. Thank you so much, Vivi. Thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Oh my god, Nordy. Thank you, both of you. Oh my god, think again. Oh my god, thank you so much, Vivi and Nordy, both of you, for the 5 gift subs. Here's Vivi's 5 kisses. There you go. and then we got Nordy's 5 kisses. There you go. I give more, but I haven't got my paycheck yet. It's okay. It's okay. You guys don't need to feel pressured to donate. No, don't stress too much about it. I appreciate you guys so much. It's very, very sweet of you for all the gift subs. Also, there is I mentioned it in the Discord, but I don't think I actually officially mentioned it. I plan to, because it's September, I actually plan to do a special thing for the top gifter for gift subs this month, which the official discounted gift subs is going to be towards the end of this month, last week. I was thinking that the top gifter for this month, I would give a free illustration for. So whoever the top gifter is, will get free art as a thank you for September. Since we actually have people who have gifted now. Yeah, a special September event. You can get some free art. There you go. After that, you will no longer be welcome here, and must either return to the Seelie or face the consequences of your actions, accident or not. Understood? I nod and find myself wordlessly rising to my feet. I wasn't dismissed, but I need to get out of this room. I need to think. The king, for his part, does not stop me, but as I begin to open the door, one last thing, child of Mill. Tentatively, I look over my shoulder.
This story is bigger than you and your desires. Remember that as you make your choice.
Okay.
I say nothing, closing the door behind me. The saddlebag slips from my hands, the treasures it contains sprawling out across the floor below me. I can scarcely bear to look.
Go for me, boss.
They will say I died. Damn. There's a door. It is sealed shut. Password. I don't know the password. Maybe we'll just type in. Maybe we'll type in Daoine, I don't know. The door does not heed your words. Oh, we gotta figure out what the password is. How frustrating. You're certain you had the right words written down somewhere. Did you leave it at home? In your pocket? Gah. I think we have to walk away for now. Is that the end of the demo? Unless... Yeah. We gotta figure out what that password is. Okay. So we check the world map, right? Maybe it's this thing, right? Cause look, there's, I guess that's just how you spell the words, huh? Cause we have like the whole this, you know, we have this whole majiggy. I would kick, but my but the magic word is open sesame. Yeah. What could the password be? I'm thinking. Ogum is read from bottom to top. Okay. So if we look at this, I'm pretty sure this is just showing how to spell those, huh? Where's U? U is 3 dashes. Yeah. And then 4. Yeah. So that's just spelling those. So is there anything else around here that has how this is written? We need to figure out what the password is, so clearly it must be written somewhere, and I'd assume it's probably written in Ogum. What was the password again for the king's bedchamber? He didn't say a password. He just opened the door. You know, he just unlocked the door and then we got smacked by a bunch of dogs. Let's see. Maybe we can check illustration. Well, we don't have any illustrations unlocked, it seems. Shame. The Book of the Soldier. Info. Gender, agender. Book of the King. Bi-romantic, he's bisexual just like me, oh my god! He's just like me for real. I'm like looking to see. There has to be. Oh my god. I wonder where we can find... We don't have any artifacts. It's empty over here. What if the password is Darby? I don't think the password would be the horse name. There has to be something. I feel like it's got to be buried in this map somewhere, maybe. But clearly those just spell the actual... Yeah, the actual, like, writing system is very, very cool. Genuinely very, very neato. Good morning, Round Pounder. I got no clue, though, what it would be. I'm, like, looking everywhere. But all of those are just the actual names. That just says Phineas. That just says Murius. Fallius and Gorius. So I don't know. Maybe we just don't have it yet. It is an early access game. So I'm pretty sure we just caught up with everything that was on here for the early access. Which, by the way, if you guys want to play for yourself, if you want to enjoy, if you want to support, if you want to wish list this game, It's in on YouTube side. It is in the description. But here's the link right here. Neat. So if you you know, if you wanna check out the game, support the game, all that good stuff. This was a lot of fun. I'm very intrigued. All the characters are very, very hot. Makes my bisexual heart sing. Especially the Unseelie. The Unseelie are packing over there with the king with Maeve. They're the king and Maeve are very, very hot. So I'll be hyped for that. Yeah, for real, yeah. His little blush was so cute, dude. Whenever we told him that we thought it was hot, he was like, do you think I'm handsome? And we're like, yeah. He's like, huh? He didn't expect it. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Huh? Oh. I just hear sound. I was like, huh? What was that? Oh my god. Axel, what the fuck? Thank you so much for the gift on Throne. The heck, you're such a sweetie pie. There you go. Big kissies, big kissies. Thank you. So sweet of you. This was so much fun. I like legitimately I cannot wait for more of this game. I think it's fantastic. I love the lore. I love the mythology. I love all of the really, really sexy characters. It's fantastic. I genuinely am so hyped for more of this game. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. 10 out of 10. Also, I love that they had like the definitions and the pronunciations and like the actual like audible pronunciation guide built in for everything. Cause like they have like the whole the glossary. Yeah, so they got like the glossary of like all of the words we've kind of run into. Which is pretty neat. On it, like legit. I do appreciate it and I love that. So I got the whole glossary of all of the Irish words that they use. You were at the end of the lexicon. Yeah. I just think you can tell when a game is made with a lot of love, when there's like a lot of heart put into it, especially like something cultural. You can really feel when somebody is just fully in love with the cultural elements that they are putting into it, you know? And this completely radiates that 100%. So thank you so much to the devs for letting me play this early access. I really hope you guys will wishlist this game on Steam. If you want to play the early access for yourself, I do recommend it. But yes, this is fantastic. I really, really cannot wait to see more of this. I need it. I definitely want to play this whenever it's fully finished as well. 1000%. Already wishlisted. Yeah, like I said, on YouTube, it's in the description. And I can post the link again in chat on Twitch for you guys. There you go. There's a link to it. Not gonna lie, I was reading with a Scottish accent when reading. Yeah, I do love the bits of voice acting. I do get why they can't voice every line for all the characters. It was just very confusing when it felt like it was just random lines that would sometimes be voiced. But maybe it's just because it's early access, they haven't gotten all the voice acting done yet, you know? It's possible. So hi, Red Spirit, welcome in. I'll be doing well. We are going to be playing so many visual novels this month. Especially the last week of the month. It is the Fall in Love Festival. I am one of the streamers working together with the festival to show off so many romance visual novels in all forms. I've got like Yuri, I've got I'm pretty sure there's one that has like BL options. There's several like classic like straight romance ones. There's like classic fluffy, there's like psychological horror, there's like thriller, there's like supernatural mystery, there's like, but they're all like romance. But it's, I'm so excited for it. Yuri mentioned Let's Go. Yeah, you know how much I love Yuri. I love Yuri. Oh, Sonic, I hope you can sleep soon. But yeah, so we'll be playing every Friday up into the last week of the month from the 24th, and then from the 24th all the way to October 1st, it is basically nonstop. We're going to be streaming almost every single day playing visual novels. Which channel do I post this in? Post what in? What are you posting? I'm going to find the picture I have. Oh, yeah, you can post it in the Pics channel if you want. You can just post it in Pics. But yeah, let's see, who should we raid? Maisie's playing Hollow Knight. Maybe we'll raid Maisie. Yeah, I think we'll raid Maisie. Yeah, everybody on that Silk Song vibe, but she's just playing classic Hollow Knight, which in a way is funny as well. So we're gonna raid Maisie. And then tomorrow we are gonna be watching the Uma Musume movie. So if you haven't, you know, if you want to join us for watching the Uma Musume movie, highly recommend. It's gonna be so much fun. Cannot wait. Hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow in the Discord for movie night. But if not, no worries. I will see you when I see you. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. And good night.